stepmother refused to plan my wedding because of my mother.
Mother's conundrum.
My 24 female, mom, 45 female, and stepmother, 44 female, are very, very different people. My mom is one of those people who wears her emotions on her sleeves. She cries and laughs a lot. If she is angry, you know it. She's very expressive. She also had a really hard life. She had me when she was young, and my biological dad abandoned her. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Mom SM, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We're just going to guess what we would do in this situation, but let us know what you would do in the comments below. She met my dad, and they were together for 10 years, and she had my sister with him. Because she had babies so young, she had to raise us and didn't get a chance to go to college. She met my stepdad right after she left my dad, and they have been together ever since. Because she isn't educated, she's never been able to get a good job and works funny hours at a thrift store. So she has a funny schedule and never really has money. She'd give me money for the wedding, but she doesn't hardly have enough for her own bills. My stepdad is her soulmate, but he needs a lot of attention, and it has always been a conflict for her. She would cry a lot because she wanted to spend more time with us as kids, but couldn't because stepdad only had certain times off, and she needed to make sure that he had the attention he needed too. I mean, she didn't even have time to cook us dinner at night. She'd take us out to eat instead, so there was no way that she would have the extra time to do some of the stuff that my stepmother did. I know she tried really hard at being a mom and did her best, but life was just harder for her than it was for my stepmother. My stepmother came into my life when I was 10, and we have always gotten along well. She is basically the opposite of my mom. I don't think I've ever seen her cry more than 1 or 2 tears. She has never raised her voice and yelled at us. Growing up, she was always the one that we went to when we needed things done. She is the one who would sign us up for all the things that we wanted to do, help with our homework, throw our birthday parties, and call the doctors. She went to college before my stepbrother was born, so she got a good job as a project manager and always had money. My dad started his own business too, and he married my stepmother, so they had way more money than my mom. They also owned their own house and didn't have to pay rent like my mom did. But the courts didn't give my mom any child support at all to help. My stepmother did more of the traditional mom stuff like cooking dinner and making Halloween costumes, but she was always a little cold. She rarely said I love you. My real mom was the emotional support, but life was hard for her, so she couldn't do the traditional mom stuff the same as my stepmother, even though she wanted to. I love both my mom and stepmother and am happy that they are both in my life. They both helped me to grow up in their own ways. My significant other and I are getting married in less than 7 months, and I'm planning my wedding. A couple of times I sent my stepmother some things asking for help, and each time she shrugged it off saying, "You should ask your mom." The last time I texted her to ask what she thought the best flower shop in the town we were going to get married is, and if she thinks that lilies would be good in the bridal bouquet. But she never responded, which is really unlike her, so I stopped by her house on the way home from work and asked her again. This time, she told me that I should plan my wedding with my mom. I pressed her on why she wouldn't help, and she said that she had promised herself a long time ago that once us kids were out of the house, she would never have to deal with my mom again. She said she will be happy to financially contribute to my wedding, but would rather not get in any situation where she has to deal with my mother. I never knew she didn't like my mom. She never said anything growing up. If anything, she always was supportive of my relationship with my mom. When I had problems with her as a teen, she would always tell me that your mother loves you, or would say, "I don't know your mom. I can't tell you why she does what she does, but I know she loves you." I asked her why she doesn't like my mom, but she wouldn't answer. She said that her relationship with my mother should in no way affect my relationship with my mom, and there is no need to spread past drama. But she has set a boundary and hopes that I can respect that. I was so confused. I asked my mom about it to see if she could tell me why my stepmother might have said that. My mom got so upset and started crying and getting angry. But she was saying that my stepmother is trying to ruin my wedding because she has always tried to control our lives just because she wanted power. She said there was a reason that stepmother had thrown our birthday parties even though she wanted to. I asked my mom to tell me what she was talking about, but she said it wasn't my concern. She then tried looking up my stepmother on Facebook to write her a letter, but stepmother had blocked her. Stepmother had blocked her everywhere.
Oh my God. Like, why though? Like, what did
know.
she do? She's just an emotional person?
I don't know.
And that's why?
It's been 4 days and my mom is still so mad. I'm a little concerned that my mom is going to use my wedding to talk to my stepmother about it, and I really don't want the drama. I asked my stepmother to contact my mom to help calm her down, but stepmother just started laughing. I'm so frustrated. I don't want this sort of drama. I don't know why now, after 14 years, my stepmother has started acting this way. I don't understand why she just won't talk to my mom or open up the channels. My mom is just an emotional person. She really does try her best as a mom, though. I really could use some help with planning my wedding. My mom would help, but like I said, she doesn't really have time. My stepmother is way better at planning things and keeping organized. It's not like my stepmother would have to talk to my mom to help me plan it. It makes me feel like she doesn't actually care about me, that she just would cut me off. I really want to know what happened between my stepmother and mom. I know they say it isn't my business, but it sure feels like it is my business, and their actions are affecting me. How do I keep this from blowing up at my wedding? I almost feel like telling my stepmother that she shouldn't come if she won't help me calm down my mom first. I don't want my wedding day ruined by my mom being so hurt, but I also really need the financial support that my stepmother and dad are giving me, and I don't want to jeopardize that. So what should I do? And there are some comments. So Shiny So New says, your perspective here is really skewed. Your stepmom doesn't want to deal with your highly emotional and volatile mother, so you asked her to deal with your highly emotional and volatile mother on your behalf. OP says, yeah. When you put it that way, it doesn't sound very smart at all.
Yeah, but it's like,
yeah.
I don't know, the only person who can make amends in the situation or like come to some sort of compromise in the situation is the stepmom and the mom.
Population Tire quotes OP, my mom got so upset and started crying and getting angry. She was saying that my stepmother is trying to ruin my wedding because she has always tried to control our lives just because she wanted power. If that's a typical response from your mom, it tells you everything you need to know. From what you wrote, your stepmom never tried to badmouth your mom or get in the way of your relationship, which shows maturity. Your mother is demonstrating immaturity with that statement. There probably isn't one incident, just a general behavior from your mom that your stepmom understandably doesn't want to deal with. OP responds, it's a pretty extreme response even from my mom. My stepmother used to say, some people are just more emotional than others, so I never thought it bothered her before. I thought she just understood that my mom was that way. Wondering Dev says she was protecting you. Now she's being honest. And there is an update from 9 months later. I had posted originally when I was very frustrated about my stepmother, saying that she wouldn't help with me with my wedding because of my mother. I was rightfully ripped into by quite a few people. I just reread what I had written, and there's so much cringe. I did what many suggested and told my stepmother that I respected her boundaries and thanked her for always having supported me in my life. She seemed really touched. We had a good conversation, and she admitted that she would like to help, but as one commenter had guessed, she was sure that if my mom heard that she had helped with something, my mom would become critical of it, and it would put me in an awkward spot. I told my mother that she needed to calm down. Even if stepmother didn't like her, they were adults, and this was my day, and I could really use some help making it special. Much to my surprise, she said that she would love to help and had been waiting to plan a wedding her whole life. A little backstory, my mom and dad had married in a courthouse with no ceremony. My mom and stepdad aren't actually married. He's just been around for so long, we just call him stepdad. Well, guys, turns out my mom is crazy. It started with her canceling the venue that we had reserved. We wanted an outdoor wedding in a beautiful park near us, and trying to book a destination wedding in Hawaii. What the F? Luckily, the refunded deposit didn't at all cover her desired location deposit, so she came and asked me to cover the rest. That was a huge blow up, but we got it sorted out. She had claimed that she wanted to surprise me with a dream wedding, and that I deserved the best. I told her that an outdoor wedding with all of my friends that fit in my budget was my dream wedding. I still believed at this point that she had been doing it to be kind, but boy am I a sucker. Things slinked into the twilight zone after that. She kept saying it was our wedding, as in mine and her wedding. I wanted a cupcake bar, and she tried to change the order to a cake. She picked up the wrong supplies for our centerpieces. Sure. The wrong supplies.
Right, that was an accident.
Yeah. She would argue with all the vendors. Every time she did something, we had a massive fight ending with her crying and hysterical, saying that I shouldn't be getting a wedding before she got her wedding. That my dad owed her a wedding.
Okay.
Oh,
now
wow.
it's time to go, Mom. I love you. but you can't. We're not doing this.
Yeah.
We are halting indefinitely
Yeah.
your planning responsibilities.
She'd apologize profusely the next day and say that she knew she was acting crazy, but that the wedding planning was just bringing up a lot of unresolved issues for her. She said she was going to counseling and getting her depression medication adjusted. I would feel bad and forgive her, and then the whole cycle would start again. After months of this, I thought we had finally reached an understanding that she could have a wedding, but she couldn't have my wedding. But I was wrong. She bought a white sequin floor-length dress with a pillbox hat with a veil to wear to the ceremony. When she sent me the picture, I honestly just went numb. I know I had told her that I would respect her wishes, but I didn't know who else to talk to, so I brought the picture over to my dad and stepmother's house. I showed it to my stepmother and then started bawling my eyes out. At first, I thought my stepmother was crying with me, but she wasn't. She was laughing so hard she could barely breathe. She called my dad in, and he started laughing so hard that he couldn't stand up straight anymore. Long story short, both my stepmother and dad ended up helping me manage my mom during the wedding. They taught me how to put her on an information diet and require passwords at vendors. My dad ripped into her about it being her wedding. My stepmother had the great idea of telling my mom that the white would match stepmother's dress and be good because it's popular for brides now to wear a dress in the wedding colors. My colors were teal and gold. So my mom showed up in a teal dress, as did my stepmother, lol. My dad and stepmother ran interference for me with my mom all day on my wedding day. They said that they were old pros at it, and it was their wedding present to me. It turned out to be a beautiful day, and I didn't hear about any of the drama until after the day. All in all, it was an eye-opening experience. I always knew my mom was emotional. I just hadn't realized how much she also manipulates things. I became a lot closer to my dad and stepmother, and am actually pretty low contact with my mother now. Oh wow. It has made me really reevaluate my childhood, and I feel like I've grown a lot. Thank you, Reddit, for being the first to start opening my eyes. And by the way, you can open your eyes to the fact that we've got full episodes with more stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. We've got some final comments here. Mega Mose says, quoting OP, my stepmother had the great idea of telling my mom that the white would match stepmother's dress and be good because it's popular for brides to now wear a dress in the wedding colors. Holy cow, that's genius. Apparently, this is not your stepmother's first rodeo. OP says, I really didn't think it would work. The funniest thing was them both ending up in almost identical dresses. I guess my mom had a minor meltdown over it, but I didn't see it. Denver Socialist says, come on, you can't drop that kind of bait without giving us more details. OP says, I guess she had found stepdad after seeing stepmother and demanded that he take her shopping right now. But stepdad was like, the ceremony's going to start. We aren't leaving now. She stormed off and found a friend who she tried to trade dresses with. But the friend thought she was being silly and said it was really cute how both of OP's moms are wearing matching outfits. My stepmother found out that she was crying in the bathroom, so she went in there with one of my bridesmaids and said loudly enough for my mom to hear, I wish I had worn a different dress. It's so similar to OP's mom, and everyone keeps telling me how much better she looks in it than I do.
Ooh, skill issue.
She really does wear it better. I guess that was enough to calm my mom down because she came out of the bathroom and was smiling and showing off her dress after that. Oh, so that was the stepmom saying that about the mom.
Oh, I was confused as well.
Yeah.
That's not a skill issue. That's actually extremely skilled.
That's very genius, yeah.
Well, and again, you know what? This is the perfect, like, silly baby type scenario. It's like she's being a silly baby. But then if you just tell the silly baby, oh, I'm so sad. Everyone keeps saying you look so much better than me in your dress.
Right. Bob Barker says, as kids, we look up to our parents a whole lot, but part of becoming an adult is learning that they're human too. It's usually a harsh lesson. Opie says, I believed everything my mom told me growing up. Why would she lie to me? And my dad and stepmother kept quiet about drama, so I only ever heard one side of the story. I feel badly that it took me so long to see it through. I started going to counseling, which has helped tremendously to start unraveling all of the lies. It's been painful, but so liberating too. All of these things that didn't ever sit right with me, I now can see it is because I knew something was off, but I didn't know what. TDC Web says your stepmother keeps things quiet because she didn't want you to think that she was intentionally alienating you from your mother. You had to come to the realization yourself, otherwise you would have resented your stepmother and it would have been easier for your mom to just manipulate you against her. Must have been incredibly tough for both your stepmother and dad. Opie says, my dad and stepmother said that they had hopes that maybe she would be more sane to us kids than she was to them. They haven't told me a lot because they say that their relationship with her shouldn't change my relationship with her. But they did clear up some things. My mom always said that dad stole everything from her in the divorce, but he had come into the marriage with the house, cars, and investments. They had signed a prenup with an infidelity clause, and my mom had cheated on my dad, leaving him for my stepdad. My dad had still paid her out quite a bit of money to help get her on her feet, but she didn't get a job and blew it on a huge vacation and a new car that she crashed while driving wasted. Fines ate up the last of the money. I remember her telling me that her car broke down and dad had towed it away, saying that he was going to fix it but never did. I remember being mad that my dad wouldn't help my mom out when he was really good with cars. I don't know all of the stories, but I question a lot of the I was mad at dad memories. It's so weird to look back on your life and not even know what you don't know. I am questioning everything. I wish dad and stepmother would tell me more, but I understand that they want me to come to my own relationship with my mom too. She is crazy, but she wasn't completely terrible all the time. The hardest thing has been with my little sister, who has always been one of my best friends. Even though she has seen what my mom did with my wedding, she has also had my mom crying to her the whole time. There were many times where my sister would call me and tell me that I was being unreasonable with mom. It has put a bit of a wedge between us, and I'm not sure how to handle it. Whoa, and that's the end of that story.
Dang.
Dude, I freaking called it, though, dude. I freaking knew that she'd be reflecting on these things and find ways her childhood was not what she thought it was.
Yep.
It was living a lie.
It's hard to see.
That sucks,
you're in it.
though.
My ex dumped me to be with his stepsister.
Not the stepsis.
And this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Oh.
Oh. A little backstory. Me, 28 female, and my now ex, let's call him John,
Uh-oh.
27 male,
Uh-oh.
were going through what I thought was a rough patch. He'd distanced himself from me, and by extension, our 3, now 4-year-old daughter. He began to hang out more around his close-in-age stepsister, staying out late, hanging out with friends, and definitely drinking. The more days went by, I noticed how weirdly close they had gotten, more than normal.
Yeah, they always hang out in the laundry.
By the way, this comes from Wolf of Snow 97, and if you want to spin your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. But OP says he'd almost never help around the house when I asked and told him how I needed the help.
But stepsister kept getting stuck, so I had to keep getting her unstuck.
More like he got stuck in her.
Instead, he enlisted his stepmom and stepsister's help,
Oh.
which I thought was weird, but a nice gesture until he voiced how he thought it was embarrassing that he had to ask for help for me. Looking back, I think he was trying to create a reason to break it off.
Not the stepmom, too.
I then started to become aware that it was getting way more suspicious after I caught them close, face to face, in the front of the house. Not kissing, but definitely close enough distance to be awkward to watch. She noticed me and backed away before walking out the garage door. I also backed up, wondering what I just witnessed at the time. Fast forward a bit, the night before I received his breakup text, not even in person, he had been so seemingly loving and we had spicy sleep, giving me the illusion that maybe we'd be okay after all.
Oh, no. The breakup, spicy sleep. The breakup sleep.
We'd been together 7, almost 8 years.
Oh.
And through one breakup and back together. But looking back, it was the optimism of love blinding me. I tried to bargain how we could work it out and get past it for our little family and little one, but every suggestion was shot down. I tried to find a job so I could get stable and help, but him being my only ride, he left me to miss my interview. Without feeling supported, I packed me and my daughter up to leave and talked to my family to see if they would be able to get us out, and they did. not without some defensiveness that I was taking the daughter I was pretty much there for everything for, while he only ever wanted the fun side of being a dad. By the way, it would be really fun if you guys listened to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There's a little bit left to this story.
He wanted the fun side of being a dad and a brother.
Yikes.
Today's theme is just not on it.
I don't like this.
Just
I don't
play
like
that.
this.
Today's theme is play that guitar riff from Leonard Skinner.
I don't like this. I don't want it. I don't want it in my stories. I don't want to read it.
It's just spicy sleep, Sophia.
No. This is
No.
bad
It's
spicy
just
sleep.
spicy sleep in the confounds of family.
All right, Fast and Furious.
Fast forward to after we left, John, his best friend, and oddly, his stepsister, followed us down the week after for Father's Day week, despite claiming no money for months. He traveled to all the places he wanted to take our daughter to, with her tagging along, including to his other side of his family's houses. I now recognize this as him introducing her to his family. How did he introduce her? How exactly what did he introduce her as?
This is my
Imagine-
step-girlfriend.
My step-girlfriend.
Fast forward a few months after the breakup, after being told he's not interested in dating. Newsflash, he's dating her.
This is my girlfriend stepsister. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's always the parentheses of not dating you.
Also, going to meet the family, what do you think they're thinking? Hey, honey, so what happened to your other girlfriend?
Yeah.
Where's
Why is your
she?
stepsister here? I find out through some of her posts tagging him and his dad's post,
That's so weird.
tagging him in what to anyone would look like cutesy dating poses, whether fishing or even in the car with him, leaning on her shoulder. The audacity to not only lie, then make it public is wild. His Facebook relationship status reflects that, yes, he's definitely dating. There's no misconception, including his dad's photo caption about them stealing kisses. So am I the a-hole if I expose them publicly for what definitely seems like cheating?
Nah. Well,
I feel like just get away from that nuclear explosion. I feel like just get away from the fire, walk away,
Dude,
don't look back.
Yeah,
OP,
we don't need to be anywhere near that.
if you can, this is my only advice I could give to you. Save up as much money as you can, fly to Bali, go to Ubud, and stay there for a week or two.
Maybe 3.
3 would be perfect. A month would be amazing. Just find yourself in Bali, because that's what people do. That's what I did. And
What'd you find in Bali?
you guys. And
You found
It
me
was-
in Bali?
it was
You found
beautiful.
Sophia in Bali?
it led me to you guys.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so I would
Yikes.
definitely get out.
Hit a different town. But that's the end of that story
Oh my god.
and the end of this cursed episode.
No, and we got
got
I guess,
comments.
We got comments?
Here.
Yeah.
What does that
This is
mean?
new.
This video was posted on August 13th, and the TLDR, the first story was, OP's dad decided to leave the entire family business to his older brother instead of giving OP any ownership. Even though OP does most of the physical work, OP quit and got offered a way better job by their biggest client, which meant the client would stop using dad's company. When OP told his family about the new job, they called him selfish, tried to sabotage him by bad-mouthing him to his new boss. Now dad's business is failing, and they had to fire people, and the family isn't speaking to OP anymore.
I remember this story.
All right, so Cynthia Guzman, 7130, take it from the top here, left a comment on this video. Dad and brother never acknowledged OP's contribution to the business. They thought of him as just a lowly grunt, so they never would have treated OP the way that he earned. He was the reason that their business was staying afloat, and they never would have seen that. Their biggest client always requested OP for the work that they needed done. That should have been a sign for Daddy Dear and beloved brother to try and keep him, but instead they just figured that he was replaceable and business would continue as normal. LOL. I really do love watching Karma work her incredible magic when greatly deserved. As far as the will goes, lol, beloved brother will be lucky if there's anything left after the business folds. OP has a lifetime of wins coming towards him, and I'm quite sure that he will be hearing from Dear Daddy and brother in the future when they are both hurting for money. He won't be needing any inheritance in the future. The company that hired him will continue to appreciate him, and even if they don't, with the experience that OP is building, someone will. That is the first comment.
Real quick, working for a company and being there from like the ground up,
Yeah.
you really understand like the inner workings of it, and you kind of come up to your own ideas of, oh, I could do this better, do that better. Because that story, the dad was very traditional in everything, and technology's come a long ways.
Just remember, like, Opie wasn't getting paid well.
He wasn't, no. And
yeah, and there was like just a bunch of other problems.
if you can bring new technical innovations to a company, he's gonna kill it.
Yeah.
He's gonna do
I
even
mean, he
better.
already got like a way better job, so.
Yeah.
We have a second comment. This is from Nana P827. The father and brother use the son as a grunt worker. It's the grunt workers that make you money. To me, it looks like God had a plan for this young man and opened a window for him.
That's right. God does, and
God did.
you know, if he wants to close it, he'll just not make it happen.
Just won't get anything.
And one more comment from Code Rain. If the client can replace 12 people with the one son they're hiring directly, that's a damn shame. And I don't love layoffs, but from a family business point of view, it shows who's been carrying the business. To clarify, OP has been generating the revenue that keeps 12 people employed, but being excluded from the decision-making and value? If this were a normal business relationship, it'd be enough to quit. If it's a family, it's a demonstration of inequitable access to support, emotional, etc. OP is carrying the family and the company.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
really was.
Clearly, because it
Oh.
didn't do well when he left.
Being a part of a company is like you have so many processes and so many things you gotta stay on top of.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy.
Sure is.
And
That's the end of that.
My mother made wedding preparations miserable, and it ruined our relationship.
Ah, man.
Truly. I, 31 female, have uninvited my mother, 50 female, and stepfather, 49 male, to my wedding. I have also gone no contact for the foreseeable future. My stepfather has been part of my entire life, but didn't officially get with my mom until I was about 10. They both had some personal struggles when I was younger, but got clean and became foster parents as I got older. I had a difficult marriage in my early 20s that didn't work out, and I eventually met a person online in another state, and after years of getting to know them, moved to that state for a fresh start. And by the way, this comes from user StrongGuarantee9466, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
And I'm Angie.
and I'm Riley.
And OP says, I've lived here since 2019 and have spent all those years repairing and creating a relationship with my mom. After I moved, I found out for the second time in my life that my bio dad wasn't my bio dad, and my true dad lived only 3 hours from where I moved. Even finding out my mom had been mistaken about this twice didn't break the relationship we had started building. Fast forward to January 2024, and my boyfriend proposed to me.
Uh-oh. Exciting.
My best friend was also engaged, and we decided to be each other's maid of honor. We
Aw.
decided to go dress shopping together, but my mom hates clothes shopping with me because I am plus-sized, and my mother never fails to make that the center of attention. When she made it clear she wanted to be there for dress shopping, I made it explicitly clear that there were going to be some rules. My best friend's mom was dealing with a gambling issue at the time, and neither my best friend nor I wanted that to be an issue on this occasion. So we agreed casinos were not an option. My mother was informed of this. She offered to pay for a hotel room for everyone to share and was told about the casino restriction. She was told that if it was an issue, then she shouldn't come, and she said that it was not. This was March 2024. Dress shopping was happening in August 2024. From March to August, she was reminded multiple times, including the night before she got on her plane. When I picked her up from the airport, everything seemed fine. My fiance and I brought her to our wedding venue and took her to see the sights. She had no complaints at this point. Friday morning, we left to go shopping. Everything was going good until she exploded about how people were passing me on the right. I was going 76 in a 70. She started yelling at me about how my driving is terrible. I'd be like, you can always just tuck and roll if it's that bad.
I'll pull over, drop you off.
You can try the good old tuck and roll if
Yeah.
you're going to be
Going to
like that about it.
6 miles over the limit, though. 2? Come on.
Also, who cares if I'm being passed on the right? I'm going the appropriate speed on the highway.
Yeah.
She pulled it together, and we went to the first dress shopping appointment. She did well, and then we went to the hotel to check in. When I went inside, they were coming down to go to dinner, and she told me to turn around unless I had to pee. I
Okay.
said I did, and she threw her hands up, upset, and stormed out.
It's only allowed if you're about to pee your pants. And it's only allowed. It's the one reason I won't be mad at you is if you have to pee your pants.
You can't go. You got to come with us to dinner right now unless you're going to pee your pants.
And then you're like,
I'm going to pee my
I'm
pants.
going to pee my pants. Like,
And she goes,
dang it. You have to pee your pants.
At dinner, we were talking wedding stuff, and I mentioned I didn't plan to have anyone with me while my hair and makeup was done. That would be my quiet time. My best friend said she didn't count as people, and she's right. She's someone my anxiety doesn't rise around. But my mom isn't that kind of person to me. My mom said she could be there too. I told my mother, no, this is my quiet time. She lost it and started crying at the table, left her debit card, and walked out of the restaurant. I paid for the whole meal to get out of there. On the way back to the hotel, I tried explaining that she can still do all the getting ready moments, but the bulk of the hair and makeup time will have me and my hairstylist. She continued to yell and finally said she'd get over it. I did retort, will you really get over it though, or will you pretend to, and every time your real feelings come out, I'll get to deal with it? And this set her off again. Totally fair to say exactly that though.
yeah, I think that was great. Very honest thing to say.
I parked at the hotel, and she asked to take my car. I hesitated and said, that's not my choice. She said, fine. I'm calling an Uber and going to the casino.
Of course.
This was the last straw for me. The casino was off limits from the beginning. My best friend's mom heard this and asked for her daughter's car keys, and they went off to the casino. I followed and said, no, if you do this, I'm going home. This was off the table from the beginning. She threatened to change her flight and leave. Good. Then announced she was going to the bar for a drink. I told her if she leaves and goes to the bar or changes her flight, I am done. She's not coming to the wedding. This turned her into a bawling, yelling mess about my ultimatums and controlling her and how I'm a terrible driver and how she's not going to get the experiences she deserved. She decided to stay. I stayed outside for an hour and talked to my fiance. She came back and apologized, saying, I'm sorry, you're right. This is about the weddings, and I should never have said I was going to the casino. I'll do whatever you want me to from this point on. About 5 minutes later, we got a text that my mom was packing up and leaving.
Get out of here. Just go on. Get out of here. I don't even care.
Honestly, it's like, why are we even pretending like she's going to do anything but just make this a headache?
Exactly.
Just let her go. She 5 minutes after saying, I'll do whatever you want, and I'm sorry, and this is about you and your wedding.
Yep.
She started whisper yelling that she isn't going to sleep with people she doesn't know. I'm not going to sleep with these people. I don't even know these people. I'm just going to pack up my stuff and I'm going to leave. I said, I don't care that you think this is an ultimatum. This is how it's going to be. If you leave this trip right now, you are stepping away from the wedding. She said, I was making her do this. I said, no, I'm not making you do anything. My 50-year-old mother ended up laying on the hotel room floor, determined to sleep there.
That she's pulling toddler moves, dude. She's playing out of the toddler handbook.
Yeah.
She's like, well, I'm going to just sleep right here. And I'm just going to, I guess this will be good enough. Well, I hope my back doesn't break from sleeping on the floor all day, all night. I wish my daughter didn't make me sleep on the floor because I wanted to go home, but I guess she doesn't want me here because I ever go away.
I guess everyone's going to hear about how my daughter hates me and made me sleep on the floor.
Yep. And then she goes, wah, wah, wah.
And then, like,
she poops
you
her
try
diaper.
to poopy diaper mom.
Yep.
My mother was being so loud that the hotel staff asked me 3 times if they needed to call the police and if I was safe. Saturday, she was sour the entire time.
We found our dresses and were so happy, laughing and talking, and she was sour and didn't even smile. At some point, a joke came up and we were laughing. My mom got pissed, threw her hands up, and stormed out of the building because this is serious and you shouldn't be laughing. We all just watched her leave with shock. She was changing her flight to leave that night, which I was fine with because I was done with her. Later, I found out my mother used an opportunity when my best friend and I stepped away to yell at my best friend's mom in public and shame her for being happy and laughing while dress shopping. My mom went home and told everyone that I was a crazy bride and that I was mean to her, but nothing happened. Didn't talk for a few weeks, and when she reached out, she acted like nothing happened. Originally, my fiance and I set our wedding dates for Thursday, January 1st, 2026. However, in September, we found out that my insurance was ending at the end of October and I would need to be on his. So we decided to do an elopement ceremony and a big old party later. We're having 2 weddings.
It's your favorite.
They're doing my technique.
It's your favorite.
They're doing the technique right now.
Secret wedding. Secret wedding. Kinda.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I called a venue that only does small elopement ceremonies. They only had 1 day available before they closed for the winter season, Thursday, October 10th, 2024. This told me it was meant to be. It's our original month and day backwards, and still on a Thursday. We booked it. Ooh. My first failed marriage was done in secret, and my parents weren't involved until after. This unalived them, and I owe that. I wanted to make this time the complete opposite. So I called my mom and told her what was going to happen, and that she is not invited to this one, but is invited to the big one. I explained that we need this for us, and that I don't trust her not to have an explosion. She exploded, went crazy, and bawled, and hung up on me, and had my stepfather call me. He begged me not to do it, trying to guilt-trip me by saying I'm his only daughter. I said, let me read you my email to my counselor. He listened. He was appalled because he had no idea. I assumed the email was about everything that had happened on the mom's trip.
Yeah. Probably.
Previously. I told him I love him and want my father-daughter dance with him. I want him walking me down the aisle. I need to honor my spouse and myself, and this has to be about us first. He said, okay, I will make it right with your mom. This was September 2024, and I haven't talked to my stepfather since. In March 2025, I booked hotel rooms for my entire wedding party and parents. I told my mom, and she got mad because she wanted to get a hotel 2 hours away from the wedding venue and drive to it the morning of.
That's stupid.
No, we don't do a 2-hour commute before the wedding ceremony for no
No.
reason.
Why?
You can come back and stay at this hotel later.
Because she would also literally weddings at 1. She's leaving right at 11. You know what I mean? Like she's not, trying to get there early. She's not accounting for any sort of traffic or anything like that. She's leaving at the last minute.
She's gonna just another vector for her to ruin things.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone else is hearing this, but the baby from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the smoking baby.
Oh yeah.
Who's got and he talks like this and he blah, 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 blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah.
yeah.
I imagined that as the mom's
As the
voice.
mom.
The mom is, yeah.
Noted.
In April 2025, I had to put my emotional support cat down and begged my stepfather to talk to me because I just wanted his voice while I was so sad. He didn't even open my message. In May 2025, I graduated with my associate's degree and sent pictures and texts, and he ignored that too. I sent a long text to both of them saying that I get that my actions hurt them, but I had to choose myself and my partner. I pointed out that while I'm an adult, I'm also their child, and I am doing the parenting. I do not deserve to be ignored by my stepfather, and I don't deserve to have my mother ostracizing me because she won't own up to her own actions. In June 2025, we traveled there for my sister's graduation. My stepfather proceeded to ignore me to the point you would think I was invisible. It was rude and obvious to everyone there for my sister. Sunday was her grad party, and he would get up and leave the area when I walked in the room. During this time at the grad party, I learned that my bio dad has pictures of me as a toddler. She asked him for pregnancy termination money. She knew who my father was. She just doesn't want to upset her husband. Yeah, just leave these people alone. I don't care what they are to you.
Yeah.
Get away from them. In July 2025, I mentioned coordinating buying tickets, and she said my stepfather isn't coming. He is mad at me for being mean to my mom. He is defending his wife. I lost it. I said, well, since he isn't acting like my dad anymore, he can just be his name and not worry about any fatherly duties since he's decided not to do them anyway. I also said this is because of her and her lies. She hung up, and we haven't talked since. But you can listen every day to full episodes with stories just like this on Spotify or iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime, and you've got 71 days where we will always be talking away at you.
Yep. That's right. That's right. And you know what's beautiful about that?
Yes.
Is that every week we pretty much add a day to that. So by the time you listen to those 71 days, you'll have another 10 days.
He's like, oh boy, I got
Wait.
another one to go.
No, you'll have another week. You'll have another 7 days.
After a week?
Yeah.
No.
Each week as we film, we get one more day. So if you have 70 days, that's 10 weeks. So then you'll have 10 more days. Okay, yeah.
I'm
I was
okay.
right. Okay.
Yeah,
I got
I
mixed.
agree.
We're good. And then by then you'll have one more day. So you really you have like 82 days.
So let's finish this story. I bought my siblings tickets, and they are coming. This has finalized my decision to go no contact and to uninvite them from my wedding. I will be open to building a relationship and even having them at the wedding if they will acknowledge their part in all of this and accept that it has had a profound impact on me and my decisions and apologize for their part in all of this. I will and have done the same. I know I'm not perfect. I tried very hard not to say the wrong things, but I'm not perfect. I'm more than willing to own up to anything that they think I haven't owned up to yet. I will apologize and honestly work to fix those things. I just want the same in return. Am I the a-hole? Nope.
No.
That was extremely eloquent. Exactly what you just said
Yeah.
is all true. You're not the a-hole. You're not perfect.
Yeah. I feel like if you're ever just wanting the same like proper treatment in return, you're never the a-hole for that.
Yeah.
Like never, not at all. My father's new wife snooped around my home, so I banned her.
Click, clack, banned.
I, 28 female, am conflicted. My dad, Patrick, male 66, divorced my mom, Kathleen, female 61, when I finished high school. They were in their 50s. They had not been working for a long time. He remarried last year to a woman, Shelley, 54 female. She has 3 kids, Jacob, 32 male, Amelia, female 29, and Alex, male 29. They're twins. My brothers and I didn't really interact with them. And by the way, this comes from Kitsune, Kitsune66613. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily. And we have not experienced all of these situations, so we might not have all the answers. But if you do, comment down below. And OP says, however, at the beginning of last year, I inherited my grandfather's estate and got to move into an amazing house. My dad was the one who was supposed to inherit it, but my grandfather was a petty person and gave it to me. I have been in the house since November 18th and have had very few visitors. It was mostly contractors to fix up the home and to build a large fence and refurbish the barn. I was feeling really good about my decorations and how it was really nice. My brothers, Damien, male 36, and his wife, Nadine, female 32, Lachlan, 30 male.
30 male.
With his partners.
It's a Lachlan, 30 male. Lachlan.
Lachlan, 30 male, with his partners, David, 29 male, and Marion, 33 male.
Marianne.
33 female.
Marianne.
Marianne.
33 female.
And my
Irish.
younger brother,
33.
Matthew, 24 male, were over to look at the renovations and to plan the holidays when my dad arrived with his new wife. I felt a little upset because I had not invited them. My dad had sprung a lot on us, like the wedding, and I had not even gotten a chance to meet her before we arrived at the wedding. My dad told me about a barbecue that he was having so that we could get to know each other. We had a few drinks after with some snacks before people began going home. It seemed normal. I arrived on time and Shelly huffed when I arrived. I hugged my dad and went to the backyard. I stayed mostly with my siblings and their partners, and we are all introverted, so social gatherings are awkward. Dinner felt awkward. I was sat in the corner next to the kids. We were all engaging in small talk when suddenly Shelly asked why I was taking antidepressants and a few other medications. She also told me that if I was that unhappy, then I shouldn't be in such a big house all by myself. The table went ghostly silent. I asked why she was in my bathroom. Wait, what?
Oh, wait. Yeah. No, because that's why she knows
Oh, yeah, because
what medicine she's on.
Yeah, she didn't ask what antidepressants. She asked why she was taking antidepressants.
It's like,
yeah.
oh, you're taking this one. Are you fundamentally broken?
Right. I asked why she was in my bathroom. I didn't even know when she had a chance to go into my bedroom or bathroom. Shelly told me that family didn't keep secrets and that it was her job as my new mom to make sure I was okay. I looked at my siblings and they were all shocked. I told her that she wasn't my mom and that going into my bathroom was a gross invasion of privacy. Shelly told me that I was overreacting and that I was just like my crazy butt mother. I got up, told her that she was not welcome to my house in the future, and I would not be coming to any family functions that she was participating in until she apologized to me. My siblings walked out with me. They could not believe that she would be so audacious and act like that. My dad called later and told me that I was being sensitive and that Shelly probably just needed to use something from my bathroom. I told him that he was putting on blinders and this was a red flag. He told me not to talk to him until I calmed down and acted like an adult. I don't think that I was being unreasonable, but I am overthinking now and thinking that I might be the a-hole. I need some unbiased opinions because I think we might be biased from my dad's blind side with the wedding and everything. Please, I also need advice moving forward. I love my dad and I want to at least be cordial with his new wife. For clarification, they left my house. It was the next day that we went to their house for the barbecue. There are some comments, but yeah, what would you say to OP? Advice?
I think you go do the exact same thing she did at their house.
Yeah.
And you snoop around their house. And when they go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You go, oh, I thought this was okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did it need to happen to you for you to understand that it's a breach of my personal boundaries to go snooping through my home? Even though, oh, I'm sorry. I was just doing this because I care about you.
My new mom.
I was simply snooping because I care about you.
That is so wild. I care about you, and as your new mom, I need to take care of you.
She starts saying yes to everything. Oh, you guys are using those kind of cleaning products?
Yeah.
Well, it's really unhealthy for you. I don't think you should be doing that. And I mean, yeah, and your medication, like, you shouldn't be eating that. You're on high blood pressure medication.
Right.
I took the liberty of taking all the salt out of the house because I don't want you guys to have health complications.
Yeah. We have some comments. Comment number 1 says, not the a-hole. She invaded your privacy, aired your business out, and then proceeded to be rude and disrespectful. Your dad's in the same boat. If anyone did that to my child, wife or not, they would be getting an earful, not my child. You're right to ban her from your house. Comment number 2 says, not the a-hole. She had no business going through your things. She's nosy and invasive, and I wouldn't be surprised if she was looking for things to steal. If you have anything valuable, double check to make sure it's still there. Also, put up security cameras if you don't already have them. I'd guess that she heard about how the house was supposed to be your dad's, and it feels like it's her right to go through anything and everything in it, since in her mind, it belongs to your dad, and of course, anything that belongs to him belongs to her as well. They don't see it as your house. They see it as their house that you are keeping from them. Your dad is a piece of garbage who is choosing the body warming his bed over his own child. That's a crazy way to say that.
What a great line.
Wow.
Absolutely. Absolute cinema.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep that one in the little fold it up.
In the chamber.
Put it in the back pocket. Tell him that you're not apologizing, and as far as you're concerned, if he's okay with her being an invasive harpy, then he can stay out of your life too. She's not your mother, never has been, and never will be, and nothing you do has anything to do with her or is any of her business. She's not family, and if he's going to let her treat you and your siblings this way, he clearly isn't family to you anymore either. OP responds, I have security cameras and dogs who are a-holes. My property is large, so I also have some other guard animals that are mean to me, so will be ruder to trespassers.
Boo. Train your animals. Boo.
Yeah.
Train your animals to only be mean on command.
There you go. You can do it.
Or else they're just unruly pets.
Right.
Boo. Next.
My dad is not the easiest to get along with. He is introverted and has a hard time with confrontations. Part of the reason why it took them so long to divorce. He has reached out to my siblings and asked them to talk to me about overreacting. And my older brothers have told him to go get his head out of his booty. And when he finally sees what is wrong, they will be willing to talk to him again. My younger brother is trying to convince us that we need to sit down and have a talk without Shelly to really talk about everything. Comment number 3 says, have a family law attorney draw up power of attorney will and medical directives and possibly a trust that explicitly ban your father and his wife and subsequent wives from any future legal power over you or inheritance or through you. Change your locks and get a P.O. box to eliminate the possibility of your mail being intercepted.
Okay, I think that's maybe a little extra.
That's a little extra.
I think maybe, to be honest, I think even like cutting all of them off entirely is a little extra. I think you just dish it back.
Yeah.
You dish it back when you have the next opportunity. And then when they say, what are you doing? And that's unacceptable. Like at the, next time you're at the barbecue and Shelly's got a plate of ribs, you take that away and you say, well, I saw the cholesterol medication in your cabinet. I don't think you should be eating that.
Right.
And she goes, why are you doing this? You go, oh, I just care about you.
Yeah.
And she goes, you shouldn't do that. You're way out of line. And I go, oh, you're also out of line for doing that to me. Can we agree about that now? So you never, ever do that again with me, right?
Right.
I respect your autonomy. You respect mine. Cool.
There is another update though, so let's see what happens. So update. This is only a small update because of everyone telling me that she was going to try and take my house. I called my dad, which was really heartbreaking. I asked him what he would do if someone went through his thing. He said it was different because she was worried about me. He then told me that he spoke to her about his mentally unstable daughter who makes poor choices, and I'm not lying, I started crying. I asked him if he wanted a relationship with me because his actions were screaming that he no longer wanted me. He let out a deep sigh and asked if I was still talking to my shrink because I was acting just like my mother. I am ashamed to say that I started yelling at him over the phone. How dare he treat me like this? How dare he talk about my personal information with a stranger? And how dare he act like this is okay? I have been medicated since I was 14 because of him. I have given excuses for his actions over the years and tried to be a good daughter, to do things that are outside of my character to fit his idea of a perfect daughter. So F you.
Yeah, I think at that point, it's like, as soon as he goes,
yeah.
I mean, are you seeing your therapist because you're just like your mom right now?
Yeah.
I go, oh, you mean the mom you divorced, so you don't want anything to do with me?
Right.
Great. See you never.
Yeah.
Until you apologize for being an absolute wiener head.
Exactly. But you would never be a wienerhead if you just listen to full episodes with more stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. And you can avoid being a wienerhead for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
As long as you listen to us. But there is a little bit more to the story. But yeah, I think that's incredibly heartbreaking to hear from your dad. I think it's totally fine for you to start yelling in that moment. Honestly, I think it seems like that answer was no. He answered her question with another question. And it sounds like if her answer to that question was like, either way, honestly, like, yes, I'm still seeing the therapist. No, I'm not seeing the therapist. Like, how would that change it? It sounds like either way, he would still be like, oh, well, I mean, okay, so you still need a therapist. So you're acting just like your mom and I don't want to be around you. Or, oh my gosh, you're not getting the help that you need because you're just like your mom and I need to not be around you anymore. Clearly unaware of how he's affecting these situations because apparently, she needed medication in the first place because of this guy. So what did he do to the mom to drive her out of there and drive her crazy too? This is wild, but we do have a little bit more. So I hung up the phone and called my emotional support human, my older brother, Damien, and cried to him. He was running errands, I suppose, because he showed up at my house and brought with him ice cream and Baileys. We sat in my bed with my dog Chaos and ate ice cream and drank Baileys straight from the bottle. The next confrontation is with Shelly in a day or two. Also, for those worried, if I'm institutionalized or anything, my brother Lachlan gets the house. I am also going to call my mom because this has been more upsetting than I thought it would be, and she will fly in and rip my dad a new one. Possibly might give Shelly the old 1-2-2. Right now, I just need booze and the comfort of strangers from the internet, and we are here to give that to you, OP. That's unfortunately the end of that story, but
Yeah, I don't even know if your mom needs to come out and then, like, yell at your dad. Like, it's clear that he, I don't know, was just, like, being entirely dismissive.
yeah.
And he's taking his wife, which, look, even if she is worried about you, like, calling you out over dinner, it's like, she's not worried about you. She's, like, worried about you in the context of, like, the damage you could do to, like, her husband's image or, like, well-being, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Being like, your severely mentally ill daughter who makes poor choices. So it's like, it's a selfish concern, not a genuine concern.
Absolutely.
I rejected my childhood friend because I didn't want his mother as my mother-in-law.
It's not your mom.
Yeah.
Not the mama.
Don't marry your friend. I, 20 female, have grown up with my childhood friend, 22 male, who we'll call John. John left for the army when he was 18, but despite that, we stayed in touch, and I even visited him once or twice where he was posted. By the way, this comes from user LazyPresent2382, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I used to love John's mother, who we'll call Amy, when I was younger, but when I was 15, I overheard her say some mean things about me and my siblings behind our backs to John, who she knew I liked at the time. She said some nasty things like I might become a gardening tool because my birth mother was one, and for context, me and my siblings are all adopted, as well as all of Amy's kids. Or my father told her I don't clean myself, which I know isn't true because my father often complained to her that I showered too often. I like feeling clean and always have. So I might have STDs. Since overhearing these things, I couldn't really bring myself to remain as close to her as I was. A few weeks ago, John came for a visit and his mother Amy invited my family as well as a few other friends over for dinner. I was pretty excited to see him since I hadn't seen him in over a year. During the visit, I needed to take a breather, so I stepped outside to get some fresh air and calm my nerves. John joined me after a while, which was perfectly fine since it allowed me to be able to finally talk to him one-on-one. We mainly just caught up with each other and talked about random things until he asked if he could court me. It took me quite some time to reply, but I did eventually tell him that I didn't want to have his mother as my mother-in-law, and I didn't want to ruin his relationship with his mother, especially since they're so close. John seemed very disappointed, but he just said, okay, and changed the subject. I thought that was the end of that, but apparently he told Amy that he was going to ask me out beforehand. And after my family left, she asked how it had gone. John, of course, answered truthfully and told her I said no, but had also told her what I had said as to why I wouldn't let him court me. And the next morning, I woke up to a bunch of mean voicemails and texts from John's mom and a few mutual friends calling me an a-hole for refusing to court John because I didn't want Amy as my mother-in-law, and that I was a little witch for not liking Amy even though she's been nothing but kind to me, and so on and so forth. I haven't responded to any of the calls and messages, and frankly, I don't know how. I didn't wish to upset anyone, but I do feel my reasons are valid. So am I the a-hole for telling my childhood friend I wouldn't court him because I don't want his mother as my mother-in-law? And we do have an update, but Angie, what do you think?
I think not at all. She literally just proved his point.
Facts.
Literally just proved OP's point.
I'm going to answer some questions I got on my last update before the actual update itself. All right. Yes, I like John romantically. The reason for me saying no was not because I didn't like him. It was because I didn't want my mother-in-law to be someone who talks bad about me or my family. I decided to have the meeting for a few reasons. One, I wanted to know where me and John stood and whether or not I'd be able to even stay friends after this. And two, I wanted to finally confront Amy on her behaviors, not just towards me, but others as well. And three, I needed to know why John never told her whether or not it was like some of you thought, that he might have done it to confront her or to confide in her. I didn't expect Amy to ever change or for her to apologize, at least not an honest apology. I also thought I would give you a bit more information about me and John's relationship up until this point. Like I said before, me and John are childhood friends. Our fathers are also childhood friends, and our mothers met in their 20s and became friends. Me and John did pretty much everything together up until he left for the military when he turned 18. If I wanted to go to the movie theater, I'd invite John and we'd go together. If John wanted to go camping, we'd go together. We have a lot of the same hobbies as well. We both like hiking and mountain climbing, as well as swimming and going on runs. Like I mentioned in my last post, me and John stayed at Mary's house during our summer break. Mary taught us how to cook, clean, sew, and how to bake, but she did that because she didn't want me being lazy and laying around all summer. So why not put me to work? At least that's how I see it. Who is Miss Mary?
Who's this random home ec teacher that they're staying with?
Okay. She also put John to work too while we were there, so it wasn't just me. John used to help Miss Mary's late husband with yard work and garage work. Okay, so here's the actual update. Miss Mary sat in a different room from John's home with my father, at first without Amy's knowledge. That was my father's suggestion, and my brother recorded the initial conversation to share with everyone else. I spoke first and explained my side. She tried to interrupt me as I spoke, but John shut her down every time. I told her how I didn't like how she reacted after hearing that I didn't want her as my mother-in-law, and that her having her friends gang up on me and also say rude things was completely inappropriate. And this is to Amy. I then mentioned what I had overheard her saying about me when I was 15, and that's when she started yelling at me. She was saying things like, I never said anything mean, and you made that up, as well as, I don't understand why you're bringing that up now, and didn't I help your brother get into college, as well as, wasn't I there for you when your mother passed away? Didn't I comfort you? Which, no, she didn't. John did that, as well as Miss Mary, John's older brother and cousin, as well as some of my other friends, and of course, my family. John did stand up for me, but Amy just got more upset and started screaming at John until Miss Mary had had enough and made herself known. Amy pretty much immediately shut up. Miss Mary immediately started scolding Amy for her behavior. Miss Mary wasn't yelling. She stayed calm, but man, I've never seen her so upset before. Honestly, it was scary how calm but angry she was. Have any of you heard the saying, nothing's scarier than calm anger? I have not, but that I feel like that's accurate.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Just calm, cool, collected.
Yeah.
Amy did try and make excuses for her behavior to Miss Mary, but immediately stopped after John showed her the messages I had sent him. She didn't apologize, which I didn't really expect her to anyway, and pretty much immediately left after that. Me and John did talk things out and decided we should just remain friends, at least for the time being. I did ask if he's going to keep contact with his mother, and he said yes, but minimal for now. I also asked why he'd told Amy what I said, and he told me he had been upset and she had started nagging him for answers on how his proposal had gone, and he pretty much blew up at her, and that had just slipped out. He apologized again for that. And by the way, you don't have to apologize to us for listening to full episodes with stories like this. All you got to do is go to iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts and search OK Storytime, and there you will find the complete archive of our discography, so to speak. Do it. And so we have a little bit of story left, but let's chat for a second on Miss Mary.
This is so much information. Okay, first of all, I'm imagining everyone in like old peasant clothes. Like I'm fully imagining like there's courtship involved. There's Miss Mary, who we don't know who she is.
Miss Mary?
But she sounds like the town's governess or something.
Right, yeah. She's clearly an authority over Amy.
Right. I'm imagining just an old lady that everyone in the town, in this small town of 40 people, respects.
It's like the town matriarch.
Yes, exactly. That's who I think Miss Mary is.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Yeah, so much has happened. So John didn't mean to tell this stuff to Amy.
Right.
John was just upset on his own, and then
because Amy's being like, well, what'd she say? What'd she say? And John's like, I don't want to talk. Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Well, what did she say? And then he's like, she said that she doesn't like you, Mom.
Yeah.
She said that you're the problem.
I really wonder how John feels about this. Is John mad at Amy? Is John just sad about the whole thing?
I'm sure John's mad at some extent. It's like, it's like, so this was going to work if it wasn't for you being like a mean, rude lady, which now Miss Mary knows all about.
Exactly.
I also had a one-on-one talk with Miss Mary. She apologized again for Amy's behavior. We ended up catching up and discussing John. She did say that she kind of always hoped I'd end up with John or John's cousin. Miss Mary did say that I needed to think long and hard about the kind of man I wanted as my life partner and to never settle for anything less, because if she settled for less, she would have never had such a great marriage with her late husband. She also invited me to visit her if I needed a vacation. She lives 6 hours away on a beautiful lake.
Who is this woman? Who is she?
Who is Miss Mary? Who is she? That's pretty much everything that happened, and I will be going no contact with Amy, and my father has decided to do the same. I will, however, still be continuing my relationship with John as friends and see how it goes from there. Thank you all so much for all the advice, and that is the end of that story.
Wow. That was a very interesting story.
I gotta say,
Yeah.
my money is on Miss Mary, Grandma.
Yeah, that seems to make the most sense.
I'm about to do a little search right now.
Do a little
just to see. I'm going back to the link. Okay, here's part 1. But there is nothing in the first part of this story about Miss Mary. It's got to be in the comments. But yeah,
I think we can
it's
assume she's
grandma. It's got to be grandma.
Yeah, makes sense.
They stayed there during the summer. Grandma. That's the end of the story. But we got another one coming right up, so don't go anywhere.
My mother threw away my graduation dress, and my father condoned it.
What was wrong with the dress?
What's the deal, man? January 31st, 2025. I, 23 female, am about to graduate from college. The party will be in 2 months, but the photographic session will be next week. One of my goals since I entered my career was that when I graduated, I would use a dress that would suit me. Some might think that I could just rent a dress that I'll probably just use it once or two in my life, but I really mean it when I said that this was the moment I've been waiting for years. By the way, this comes from Kooky Blueberry 4770, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, the last few weeks I had been looking for dresses in different boutiques. I went with several people in different times. One of them was with my mother. And that time, I found a dress that not only suited me like a glove, it was a light green, long dress, and I immediately loved it. The problem my mother had, it had a low neckline.
Ah, scandal.
Oh my
Scandal.
goodness.
Oh, man. Oh,
No. You see, my mother is a modest woman. Someone who may be scandalized when a dress is above the knees or the neckline shows even a little bit of the cleavage. So despite that she admitted that the dress fit me, I shouldn't buy it as I might attract unwanted looks, especially as I have a big cup size.
Oh, lordy,
Oh,
lordy, lordy.
But
Just let her wear a dress.
Let her wear a dress. And that's the thing though too. When you've got a bigger bra size, it becomes harder and harder to hide the cleavage.
Everything is like quote unquote immodest, but
Yeah,
it's not actually. It's just different body types.
Exactly. I already have been to therapy about it, so some insecurities that affected her no longer affect me, but still I wanted to get to a middle point. I liked that one dress, and despite the fact that I was the one buying it, I wanted to make her comfortable. So I proposed that I use a shawl. I felt fine with it, and it might be useful if it's cold outside. And my mother agreed with that. With the green light on, I bought the dress, and a few days later, a shawl that would suit the dress. Everything was fine so far until 2 days ago, when I returned to home after returning from school, from continuing my thesis, already working on that. I got something to eat, took a bath, and changed to go to work when I noticed that my dress wasn't in my wardrobe.
Oh no! Oh no!
What's going on? ICUs in the comments
put some
section right now.
ICUs, man. This is not
Man.
looking good.
I put it there. I hung it up to avoid my cat's hair on it. It was there in the morning, so I was confused. I asked my siblings, and they didn't know anything about it. My father wasn't in the city, so I directly asked my mom, who was in the kitchen watching TV while cutting potatoes. Something like, "Mom, do you know where my dress is?" She said, "I threw it." Excuse me? What do you mean by you threw it? She said, "The garbage truck came today, so I threw it away." Excuse me? Why? Why did you throw it away? I swear I felt like crying in this moment. She said something like, "I wasn't convinced at all with that dress. That shawl didn't cover you at all, and your dad agreed with me. So yesterday, I bought you a suit for your photos and party." Oh. A suit is a very different direction to go.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. It was already a huge crazy thing that like she's not going to let you wear this dress. I mean, you're probably like 21 at this point.
Yeah.
But instead of returning the dress, she just threw it away?
Yeah, what?
I'd be like, okay, well, you're freaking paying me. You're freaking paying me because I spent money on that.
Absolutely. And if she tries to pull the whole, well, I paid for the suit. Well, that's
I
not
don't
my
care.
fault.
I'm gonna throw it away.
Yeah, that's not my money. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Because also, too, it's like, I mean, do they have pictures of her wearing the dress? How was she able to show the dad that it didn't cover?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
And you already approved of it, mother. Excuse me. I couldn't believe what she was saying. I just ran outside, foolishly hoping that magically a black garbage bag would be outside. I didn't pay attention to that when I came home from school. But no. The garbage truck must have came early. I thought that maybe my mother was joking. Because why? Why did my parents do that? I thought they agreed with me. What about the money that I spent on that? I didn't ask anything from them. I bought it with the money that I earned working part-time in a bubble tea shop. Dude, you gotta work a while then to get to that dress.
Oh my God. I'd like demand. I'd be like, you have to pay me back.
Absolutely. And get me something that I actually want.
Yeah,
you gotta liquidate that.
Goodness.
Yeah. I ran to my mom's room and saw her wardrobe, but nothing was there. As I was crying, she came in with a gray suit in her arms.
What is this? Abnegation? I'm sorry. What?
Yeah. Why a suit?
Also, is gray? Like, typically they're
on,
white.
come on.
If it's graduation.
Yeah, it was exactly the kind of clothes that my mom would choose for me. Usually I liked suits too. I used them when I was going for a conference to my college, but at that moment I honestly couldn't believe the audacity of my parents, especially my mother. When my father returned yesterday, he gave me a bunch of bills, around $300, saying that it was for the dress that my mother threw away. Okay, so we're getting some money back.
At least we're gonna still awful, but
Yeah,
at least we
yeah.
got some money.
Some money. That way my money would not be wasted. But that money felt dirty. I didn't want it.
Take it, man. Go buy yourself another dress.
Yeah, honestly.
Buy the same dress, man.
Yeah, there probably is the same dress there.
Yeah.
My father probably still felt guilty about agreeing with my mother, so he gave me that to make himself feel better. But of course, he didn't accept no as an answer. On the one hand, I understand where my mother is coming from. She bought that suit with her money, and she couldn't stop telling me about it since yesterday. She said that I would look better in the suit, but I haven't proven that yet, and that my green dress would have made me uncomfortable with the looks I would gain from guests or males.
Why are you assuming things? Why are you assuming things?
You don't know. You don't know that.
Why are you speaking for your daughter who wanted
Exactly.
that dress and bought the dress that she wanted?
Yeah, and I mean, if she's fine with like a low neck, then she's probably used to the looks.
Yeah.
And it's probably like, listen, you just,
I feel
it
good in
is
this
what it
dress.
is. Yeah, exactly. You can't always think about the looks of others. And as my father already gave me the money, I actually didn't lose anything. Half of me started to doubt, thinking that maybe she's right, and maybe I'm acting over dramatic.
Oh.
The other part of me wants to throw everything away, ignore that suit, and go and look for a second option the last week I have before the photographic session. So am I the a-hole if I do it? I don't know if I should just go to the photo session in the suit and ignore her, or ignore her, risking the same thing to happen again. I don't know if I would use those $300. As I said, it felt dirty to me, but I don't know where to get more money to do last minute shopping. So there are some relevant comments, but before we read those, what do you think she should do?
Dude, you're not the a-hole if you go and get another dress.
Absolutely not.
They threw out your dress, but I do have, okay, what you need to do,
Mhm.
you take your $300, you go buy another dress that you like, that you
Yep.
feel good in,
Here you go.
and then you hide that. Don't tell anyone about that dress.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm
Like,
still
honestly,
going-
maybe even like have a friend put it in their closet.
yeah,
like-
or keep it in your car if you have your own car.
Anything like places where your parents cannot access it because they might
Yeah.
steal it if it's in your wardrobe.
Absolutely. I mean, they did it before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, don't trust them.
yeah. But there are some comments. Commenter number 1 says, not the a-hole. Can you use the money to buy the same dress again and hide it from your mother until it's time for pictures? Exactly. Maybe at a friend's house.
Dude,
Oh my gosh.
Did you
look
just
at that.
freaking steal what I just said?
Dude, wow. Copier.
alert.
OP says, sadly, when I bought the dress, the seller told me that the dress was the last one with that design. At the time, I felt lucky that the dress was exactly my size and fit me well. But still, I'm deeply looking back on my relationship with my parents in general. I think I'll be looking for more options in the long term, not only with the dress.
Yeah, makes
She's
sense.
like, I'm looking for more options for parents.
I'm looking for
get a
new
one.
parents if anyone's offering.
But there is an update. Okay.
Woo.
All right. So that was January 31st. Now it's March 12th. Okay.
Okay. So
2025.
we're getting closer to graduation
Yeah.
season.
1.5 months later.
Yeah.
All right. So, hi. Honestly, I didn't expect doing an update. Neither did I expect having such attention when I made my first post a month ago. So, thank you very much. I'm sorry I didn't answer all of you. I was overwhelmed with seeing the amount of comments. So, yeah. As I said before, I didn't expect to make an update, but I guess I need to vent. yet. Yes, I had the photo session, and no, I haven't had my prom party yet. It's next month, but I guess I'll go for parts. I apologize in advance if this is long. I'm taking the opportunity to say my thoughts in this post.
It's okay that it's long.
So first, on the previous post, I don't have a close relationship with my siblings, even though that we've lived under the same roof for a while, and lots of people do. We can talk about certain things as TV shows, movies, games, music, and other media, but we don't talk about our problems. That's the reason why I got surprised when my older sister, 26 female, offered me around $60. Where did this come from?
$60? Why is she offering you $60?
She told me that it was a shame what our mother did, that I looked good in that dress and I should look for something similar. Wow, so she knows about all the drama going on. It was a pleasant surprise, the fact that my sister approached me to show her support. I usually wouldn't accept the money. I don't like the idea of having a debt, but considering everything that happened, I felt grateful for it.
Very interesting mindset that Opie has about her family.
Yeah.
I think of like, oh, I didn't want to accept the money that my dad gave me. I didn't want to accept the money that my sister gave. Like, it feels like they are very like tit for tat kind of family.
Yeah, interesting. So I used my free days next week to find something similar to my dress. As I said on one comment, as I expected, the dress I got before was the last one. When I got it, I felt lucky that the dress suited me so well, but that luck ran out on me. Still, I found another dress.
Woo!
Yay!
Huzzah!
It was a blue one. In my opinion, it wasn't as pretty as the green one, but it still suited me well. It was cheaper than the green one and was better than using my gray suit. So I bought it. Another thing that I didn't comment on is that I didn't want to use all the money I had. With the money my sister gave me, the $300 that my father gave me as compensation, and around $210 I saved before, I knew that I could buy an even more expensive one than the green one. But some of your comments made me think long term. I didn't comment on the previous post, but I was already planning to go to another state to start a master's. I like the field of investigation. My thesis is pretty much about microplastics and degrading process.
Ooh, that's important.
Yeah.
We need to get those out.
Absolutely. My original plan was to get my title and start saving money to move out, finalizing the year on the next cycle. When I told my parents my plan months ago, they told me that they supported me. They are with me financially and emotionally. But this experience with the dress made me wonder if that was really true. I know that moving out and using a dress are two completely different things, but my mother told me that she was fine with the dress, with the condition of using a shawl too, and then she threw it away. So it made me rethink about the control my mother has over my decisions. And I concluded that she was always like that. Just that I didn't notice it, as mostly she did what she wanted on things that I didn't think were very important. My father is no different. He is more passive than my mom, but he mostly agrees with her and tries to wash his hands by giving me or my siblings something in compensation. So it made me wonder if they truly support me moving out or if they're just pretending, waiting for a moment to tell me that I can't move out as something happened. Or maybe I should get my master's in our state despite the fact that I have no interest in the options here. Well, for that reason, I decided that I wanted to save the money. I already talked with my thesis advisor that if possible, I want to end the thesis sooner than originally intended. I started to look for scholarships too. I had pretty good grades, so I guess that can help the process. And of course, I preferred to save money on the dress. Some of you suggested that I should burn the suit in front of my mom, but despite making me laugh with the idea, I didn't do that.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
That's probably best
good.
that you
I think you should just throw it in the garbage can.
Yeah, just
well, actually, I don't want to waste fabric, so maybe we can like Goodwill it.
Yeah, maybe you could see
Red
if you
Cross
can return
or something.
it or something.
Yeah.
If the money returns to card or something like that. I don't know.
You'd be
if
like,
you have
hey,
the
can I
receipt.
put this on this card, please?
Yeah, blue. Instead, I asked a friend to keep the blue dress at her house until the photo session. I didn't comment about it to my parents, and the day before the session, I went to my friend's house for the dress. It was obvious to say that my mom wasn't happy about the idea of me not using the suit. The moment I walked down the stairs, she told me that I made her waste money.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny because you made me waste money when you threw out my dress.
Yeah. She didn't make you do anything. You were the one that bought that dress.
You were the one who threw out the dress that she already paid for.
Yeah. Or you bought the suit. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. You are the one actively making the decision to waste money. She also told me that I would look more professional in that suit and that I wasted my dad's money on it too. Still, she didn't complain about the dress design. I guess she wasn't as triggered with this one as she was with the green one. It doesn't have a low cleavage like the green one did, but it has a Grecian cut. So I guess that was more acceptable in her eyes. That doesn't make me feel better though, to be honest. My father didn't comment on it. He just told me that I looked good, but I should put the suit on for the party.
Nope. I'd be like, no, I'm not going to a freaking business meeting. I'm graduating.
Exactly.
I want to be pretty.
I want to have fun. I want to be pretty. So maybe just wear the suit when you're applying to jobs.
Yeah.
Or interviewing with schools or something.
Exactly.
You know, there you go. You could still use it for that stuff. I already planned that they would appear on the photo session, so I didn't uninvite them. Again, long term, I can't stop talking with them until I move out. So they and my siblings went to the photo session with me. Last week, the photographer sent us the digital version of the family session. I'm not gonna lie, they felt bittersweet, but it's what I have.
Yeah.
So I didn't talk much about the dress with my parents for the next month. I have been more focused on finishing that thesis and working in that bubble tea shop to save some money. It's good to say that I'm finishing 1.5 months earlier than expected. Wow, that's a big jump.
That is a big jump
Great
for a
job.
thesis.
Yeah.
Having done a thesis.
Yeah.
It takes a while.
I'm sure. I have not done one. I already had most of the experimentation from last year, so it was mostly bibliographic research and a few experiments to see its replication. If everything goes well, I'll be presenting next month.
Nice.
Wow. During this month, I made several exams too. TOEFL and the first 2 tests to enter into a master's.
Exciting.
My objective is to gain a good scholarship so that I can move out before finishing the first part of the year. I feel kind of rushed, but I won't follow my original plan because I haven't talked about it with any member of my family either. I've been thinking about talking about it with my older sister, but I'm still deliberating. So, about the party, I will be using the blue dress. Maybe I'll use the suit someday, but right now, I can't think about it. I still relate the suit to my parents and everything that it entails. The green dress topic still tastes bittersweet to me. Like, in a way, it was Pandora's box, and a very pretty Pandora's box. But I'm not going to lie, I am still kind of nervous about the prom. It's the day I've been expecting for years. Despite the bittersweet taste, I can't help but feel expectant. And by the way, I expect you to check out full episodes with more stories just like this one on your favorite podcast app. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever you choose. Just search OK Storytime and
Do it.
look at all that.
Do it.
Do it. Yeah, there's a little bit more. But do we have any final
I feel like
thoughts?
you're taking the right steps. You got the dress that you wanted in the
Yes.
end, or like at least the second dress that you wanted in the
Right.
end. It seems like you're realizing that you need to limit contact with your parents, which I think is a good idea, and maybe save up to like do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, it seems like you just can't rely on your parents for any sort of help consistently. You know.
Yeah, not with this stuff anyway. Like I have heard of a lot of situations where it's like people either have controlling parents or have like a weird relationship with their parents, but then they move out for school and then it's like so much better.
Yeah.
Because now they don't have all this say in your everyday life, but you obviously still kind of they really won't realize what they have till it's gone kind of a
Exactly.
thing. I'm sure they appreciate you anyway as their daughter, but like
Hopefully.
yeah, it's definitely better that they won't have like all of that involvement in your life.
Indeed.
But yeah, I'm glad you didn't sacrifice your pretty dress. And I'm glad you did what you wanted because in the long run, you would regret it. So
True.
Yeah.
Don't wear that gray suit.
but there is a little bit more. So some of your comments on the previous post made me laugh and the other ones made me rethink about my plans for my life. To be honest, I think if I didn't post on here, I would just use the gray suit to avoid any problems and I wouldn't see the big problem here. So thank you, unknown people of the internet. LOL. Maybe I'll post if something big happens, but if not, consider everything has gone well. Again, thank you. And that is the end of that story.
Woo.
That was a nice ending.
I think I figured it out. We got to get a dress. Didn't have to pay for it.
Exactly. Good job, internet, for supporting OP. Boom.
But that is the end of that story and the end of this episode.
Yes, it is.
So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow. My father's wife kept stealing my child's gift and giving it to another.
This isn't White Elephant.
I, 40 female, went with my SO, 36 male, and our child, 8 female, to visit my father and family for the holidays. This is no weekend trip. I drive 1,100 miles one way every other year or so to visit my family for the holidays, weddings, funerals, and sometimes during the summer. This year, the plan was to spend Christmas with my father, 66 male, his wife, 64 female, let's call her Marge, and my brothers alongside their families. I normally end up at my older brother's house with his wife and kids because my daughter loves to spend time with her cousins, which we encourage. By the way, this comes from Starbite82, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, Marge and I have had a very strange relationship for over 2 decades. I have tried to get along with her time after time, always ending up compromising on my part. She's extremely passive-aggressive and will not confront or admit to any wrongdoing by herself or her children. They are apparently all saints, and my father's blood relatives are always wrong and need to apologize. Because of the distance and the fact that we're driving, I purchased a majority of our child's presents online and had them shipped directly to my father's work. He owns his own business. I was afraid of something happening to them while sitting on my dad's home doorstep during the day. People be stealing during the holidays. I love to give gifts, not in excess, as we do live very frugal lives, and usually only buy things we need. My child does not receive gifts except for her birthday and holidays throughout the year. A few days prior to our trip, we were making plans for Christmas Eve, and I mistakenly assumed that my father and Marge would spend Christmas Eve with us, considering that we were staying in their home for the duration of our trip. They had already committed to spending it with my older stepbrother and his family 2 hours away. We accepted this and said, okay, we'll spend Christmas Eve with my younger brother and his wife's family, no problem.
Yeah, like you guys usually do.
Yeah. We had an extremely wonderful time, and I'm glad that we went. A few days prior to Christmas Eve, I opened the shipping box that contained the one special present that I knew my child would have liked. It was a niche gift that is only sold online by about 2 retailers, both of which do not have a traditional brick-and-mortar storefront.
Is it a Live View Pro?
Yes.
Really? And you can okay.
I opened the shipping box to check the gift, show my SO, and I also mistakenly showed Marge.
Uh-oh, guess who's gonna have opinions?
Christmas morning, I had forgotten about this one gift when it came time to put presents under the tree and ran to our room where we were staying to find it. I checked that room high and low at least twice over, and my SO also checked 3 times over to no avail. I showed a picture to my father, and he made the remark that he saw Marge's grandchild wearing it on her head the day before when they visited my stepbrother's family on Christmas Eve.
What?
Marge tells me she found it on clearance at a well-known store. Yet when you look on this store's website for anything associated with the gift in question's genre, there are no results. I again give her the benefit of the doubt because we were leaving the day after Christmas to a neighboring state where my mother lives. I have a touch of ADD and I lose things, but if I spend the time to find the lost things, I always find them. The day after I got to my mother's house, I pulled everything out of my car, went through every single bag, every suitcase, and no present. Before I make accusations, I try to cover my bases and look at all possible situations because I need to be sure. The only possible explanation in my mind is that she stole it.
Does this item have a serial number?
Well,
I doubt it.
yeah.
But
I
could
don't
it?
know.
We should. You'd think I'd be against this. We should put serial numbers on everything.
I think you ask her where she got it from, and then you email the people that sell it and say, do you ever put this in this store?
Yeah, she did mention it, but probably like get more into it. That's weird. Why would she steal that? Ew.
Give it to another kid. I've contacted my father, my full blood brothers, and my uncle, who is my father's brother. They all shared stories, except my father, about Marge and her shenanigans that would make the average moral person gasp. She has constantly over the years tried to separate my father from his family and embrace her side. She plans parties and gatherings and makes excuses as to why she does not invite my father's side of the family. This isn't just a few times, I'm talking over 20 years here. My father has made the comment to my older brother that he feels as though he's being tracked by her. She consistently has his phone in her possession, so when I call, it's hard to not speak to her in some way. I have tried to save face over the years, but this is the last straw for me. I've already told my father that she has passed away to me and that she is trying to control his life by pushing his children away.
Yeah, it's an isolation technique.
I mean, she takes his phone all the time?
Why? What's on there?
He asked me why we always have tension, and I told him, I don't know. I've tried to get along with her, and this was the icing on the cake. This woman is everything she could possibly need or want, and yet is still not happy or satisfied. This woman is literally spoiled rotten and has complete control over my father, who is just trying to make everyone happy. In the process, my brothers and I have been the ones to bear the blame, the shame, and have had to back down to keep her happy. I just can't do it anymore. I draw the line when you steal from my child, who, by the way, also has special needs. My intention of this post is for advice going forward. I just don't know what to do other than try to stay constant in my father's life. I love my father, and I worry about his health and her lack of care for him. She takes medication and drinks on a daily basis. My father may never leave her because of his health, and the divorce would absolutely ruin him financially, medically, and the aftermath would destroy his mental health. The punter is that my SO works extremely hard to give us a decent life, and he hasn't had a real vacation for the better half of a decade. This is by by his own choosing. Believe me, I have tried to make him take a break. He does not get along with his brothers or stepfather. This trip was to try and convince him to move closer to my family because I'm close to all of my family except for my father's wife and her children's families. Yikes. So you're trying to convince him to move closer to them, but one of the people that you're moving closer to is controlling thief.
Yeah. Doesn't help that
great.
they've been married for about 20 years too.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. I don't. Okay.
I would confront her way more about that gift that she stole.
I would definitely be
But
mom
you need to
and
pay that back.
dad all over.
Yeah.
I don't see isolation techniques happen with older people. It's usually with like younger people.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like I've seen a lot with like people my age.
Mm-hmm.
Not like this.
Anyone can isolate.
Uh,
Comment 1, you're going to have to be blunt with her and with your father. This is unacceptable behavior. She needs to reimburse you for the item that she took because it didn't just disappear overnight. Then you'll have to go no contact and let your father know that you will be there for him if he ever decides that he wants to be with his family again. I'm sorry, but if he chooses to stay with her, then he condones her behavior. OP says, I completely agree with you. I just know that the no contact is exactly what she wants. This is really where I'm torn. Thank you for your comment. Comment 2 says, you cut them out of your life. I'm really sorry for your father's situation, but at the end of the day, he made a choice and decided to stick by it. He chose his wife over and over again, and yet he doesn't put his foot down. He allows her to be like this. He probably understands his role in the relationship as giving her whatever she needs to keep tapping that fine young butt. What?
it's not. They're the same age.
They're the same age. And he allowed it to continue to this day, so that's the bed he made. You and your family, however, don't have to partake in this circus. Go low contact or no contact at all. Meet them only in restaurants, cafes, and whatnot. Don't go to their house. Don't subject your kids to interact with Marge. Your father had 20 years to wise up and choose his family over her. He decided not to. OP says, we live out of state, so my child already has limited contact with them. I have warned my brother and his father about the contact that my niece and nephew have with them. Comment 3 says, drive to your stepbro's house, show him your virtual receipt, and take the gift back. Embarrass her for stealing. OP says, what's funny is that my stepbro is a cop.
Oh.
And today he confronted her about it. She gaslit him, and now there's a storm brewing. Comment 4 says, Marge is not the problem. It's easier to say she's the problem, but she's not. If I drive a burning car onto your driveway, do you blame the fire or the person who put it in your driveway? It might be hard for your father to leave now, but can you honestly say he has had no opportunity for 20 years?
Yeah.
Just because your father wants you to assimilate to his choices doesn't change the fact that he has made his choice and he chose Marge. 6,000 plus days of him waking up and staying married to a woman who hates his children.
Oh.
Have you ever wondered how Cinderella's dad left her with the evil stepmom? Your dad is the template on which the story was written. If you really, really feel like he deserves more of your patience, then arrange to see him without her there. Take him to dinner. If he can't be alone with you without her there, it's just another choice he's making.
Yeah.
By the way, you should make the choice to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is another update.
This
Any final thoughts?
is crazy. This is heartbreaking to see that the dad, again, wants to stay with the mother and kind of passed on from his kids. It's really sad to see. It's tough, really tough to see.
He wants to stay with his stepwife.
With his stepwife, sorry. Wants to stay with his
or
stepwife.
stepmom, I guess, of
Or the wife.
kids. Yes.
Stepwife, oh my gosh. Wants to stay with his wife.
Yeah.
But you got other family, it seems like, and make the
Yeah.
most of it while you can through this tough season.
I think that if all of you kind of unite, all of the other family members unite and are like, okay, we're gonna limit contact with his mom, or set some boundaries with her and get on the same page about it. Not even necessarily same page on like how much contact you're gonna have with her, but just same page about who she is, and limit contact with your dad until he realizes that he can't have a relationship with you while the mom is there or the wife is there.
Yikes.
But there is an update. After giving it a little time and attempting to stay constant in my father's life, I received a phone call from him today.
Okay.
Small talk went good until I asked if he had spoken to Marge. She, as expected, would not admit to any wrongdoing, and he frankly didn't want to talk about it.
Uh-oh.
So unfortunately, I told him I was going no contact with both of them. I also told him he lost a daughter and a granddaughter, to which I was, and still am heartbroken about. Thank you for all your advice. I deeply appreciate it. Some I didn't want to hear or realize, but it helped me to make this decision, and I hope in the future will allow me to have less stress when I visit my hometown. I have informed all of my family members about this, and every single one is being supportive in my decision. She has 1 child out of 3 left to drive away. I hope it doesn't come down to that, but I have a feeling it will.
When one falls, other will too.
I think that was the right decision, OP.
Yep.
Your dad just can't see what he's doing, and he needs to, have consequences so that he changes his behavior. But that is the end of that story, folk.
I had to hide my wheelchair from my stepsister.
She can't move.
I, 17 female, have misaligned hips, causing significant pain when I walk distances without assistance from a wheelchair or cane. I usually use the cane when going to the mall with friends since maneuvering the wheelchair is annoying there. But I prefer the chair because it allows a pillow on my bad hip. By the way, this comes from Turtle Fanatics, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And before we get into the story, note, we are here to give our best advice. We haven't been through all these experiences, so if you have, please put your comments down below. OP says, yesterday, my mom called to explain that my stepsister, 18 female, tore her ACL and needs to use my wheelchair after her surgery.
That's absolutely crazy. No, you can't have my wheelchair. I also feel like you can usually get it probably costs money, but you usually can get that as part of, if she needed it,
Yeah.
she might be able to get a cheaper one as part of insurance.
Oh, yeah.
Because usually they give you crutches when
Yeah.
you
Also,
need them.
you're a Facebook post away from finding another wheelchair.
Yeah, you don't need OP's wheelchair.
But it has a pillow.
They can put a pillow in there.
But
She's
it's
fine.
But it's OP's pillow.
She's fine.
I don't have any malice towards my step-siblings, but Mom married my stepdad right before the vid hit, and I've been stuck in my father's house during lockdown. Before, I'd only met them a handful of times. The issue is that the weekend she's planned to come home is the same day my friends and I are going on a colonial tour around the city for my birthday.
What's a colonial tour?
Hot take? Could see Abe Lincoln, George Washington, people make bread with their fun dresses on.
Oh, yeah, they've got one of those milk butter churners.
Of course you
Yeah.
would think that.
What? A butter churner?
Yeah.
I love butter.
Your mind's so dirty.
What?
Do that again.
No.
The little movement.
It's a butter churner movement. It's a
get
butter
your-
churner movement.
Get your head out of the gutter, Sophia.
Your head's in the gutter.
We're gonna have to work with.
Unbelievable.
I know. Agreed.
Unbelievable.
I asked if she could get crutches from the doctor instead. Mom said it would come out of pocket since her insurance won't cover it. My father's plan covers mine as a child. I told her that stepsister could have my cane, but I need my wheelchair since the tour involved a whole day of walking. My mom got annoyed and started sighing while shaking her head like I wasn't understanding. It's an ACL. She needs the wheelchair. How could you?
She needs it.
Yeah, you really can't walk, but she needs it for the ACL.
She needs it for it. I don't know. It's slightly uncomfortable for her.
Again, if you really wanted a wheelchair,
Just ask
Facebook-
someone to carry you, OP.
yeah, carry you, or one Facebook post away, go to a church, go to women's shelter, something.
Or ask around. See if anyone else you know has got crutches.
I could get a wheelchair today, posted on social media.
Yeah.
Today.
Today.
She said I could use the cane, but the wheelchair was going to my stepsister. Or I could reschedule for another weekend, which would likely never happen since there aren't any refunds and I don't have enough money for new tickets that I paid for with my own money.
And also, it's OP's birthday.
Let her have her old wheelchair for her birthday.
It's literally her birthday.
Can I have the keys to my car for my birthday since I'm going to go get Korean barbecue?
I'm borrowing your car.
I need the keys to my car for my birthday.
I'm borrowing. Can you take a bike
No.
to K-Town?
No.
That would be crazy, OP.
That's the same scenario.
Yeah.
I said rescheduling was fine since it was my birthday weekend, but she'd have to pay for our tickets for us to go again. She scoffed and said that would cost more than buying crutches.
Well, perfect. Then you can buy the crutches.
I tried explaining it would be cheaper than buying a new wheelchair like mine. She kept shutting me down, saying my stepsister would get the wheelchair for the weekend and I should make do with the cane.
No.
The argument escalated until she ended it with, "I'm not asking, I'm telling," and hung up without saying another word.
If you're at your dad's, then just don't give it to her. What's she gonna do? She gonna steal a wheelchair from you? She gonna commit a heist?
OP, you have the potential to do something really petty here.
What?
So petty.
What?
Give him the wheelchair.
Sabotage the wheelchair. Take out all the bolts.
I was saying, give him the wheelchair, put a lock on it, and the lock is your birthday. And if they know, they know what your birthday is, then
they can free it.
sure. Or if you have a really complicated wheelchair, if you get purchases sent to your text messages from your stepmom, then it unlocks it.
Brilliant.
Feeling spiteful, I asked my friend if I could store my wheelchair in her trunk for the trip. I was planning to go to her house after the trip anyways. My plan was to play dumb, saying I forgot it or something. It didn't help my mood when I looked up crutch prices and saw she was looking at brand new ones rather than secondhand sites where they are a quarter of the price. All right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that, like,
How much do you think it is?
I don't know, crutches?
Yep.
Well, I don't know, 30, 50 bucks?
Okay. Guess how much a wheelchair is?
A couple hundred, probably like 400.
Okay. Crutches right now, $22
Oh, dang.
on Amazon.
Dang. Cheap.
For a cheap one on Amazon, $120.
For a cheap wheelchair?
Yeah.
Dang. Well, OP's wheelchair is probably more, though.
Yeah, but you don't. It's an ACL, dude.
Yeah.
It's
You're fine. You're fine.
she can hop on one leg. Also, ACL. What's those fun little scooter things?
Yeah. Get her one of those scooters. Those ones are so much more cool. Little ACL scooter.
Is that
What?
ACL scooter?
Yeah.
That's so funny. All the things that drive are like $2,100.
Dang, that's expensive. I honestly think that, like, insurance probably did cover a little bit of the price of the crutches, but she just didn't want to pay anything. She just wants it free.
It's called a knee scooter, by the way, for anyone that is looking
Good
this
to
up.
know.
Okay, they're like 150, 125, $100. Yeah, $100.
Okay, so get a knee scooter. Save 20 bucks.
Boom. When I tried to screenshot some and send it to her, she simply replied, "We already have the wheelchair, so it's fine." I feel like a knucklehead for hiding my chair, but this will be the first time in years I'm actually celebrating my birthday, and I don't want to spend it in pain or resenting my stepsister for making me lose a lump sum of money I worked overtime for. Either way, I'll be agitated because Mom won't listen to my suggestions or see things from my point of view. We have an edit. A few points to clarify. Yes, I'm turning 18 next week after stepsister surgery. I pointed out both Amazon and CVS $40 crutches to Mom before, but we already have your wheelchair answer. I asked why she's so set on having my wheelchair this morning, and she replied that stepsister doesn't want crutches. She wants my wheelchair due to all the padding and extras I've added over the years.
Well, she can't have my wheelchair due to all the padding and things I added.
I want to take your car because you spent so much money on it and it goes really fast. This Honda isn't fast.
It's not fast at all. It's like, yeah, you're in a race and you're like, well, I want the car that's all souped up.
Yeah.
I don't want my little Toyota.
I was going back to the K-Town thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, they're both going to get you there.
Yeah, man.
One probably a little faster and more comfortable, but dude.
It's an ACL. You're fine. You don't need it. I mean, like, obviously ACL, to be clear,
To be clear.
does hurt.
Yeah.
It does take a really long time to heal, but OP will never be able to walk in the same way that, you know, her stepsister probably will be in a year or a couple months.
Yeah. That really got under my skin, and I haven't spoken to her since. I'm having a long sit down with my dad when I get home, mentally preparing for the fallout.
Also, if she needs, you know, if the ACL surgery, you know, is so bad that she needs a wheelchair, then this is just a temporary fix anyway. Because she's only having it for the weekend. Is she going to keep borrowing it from OP and they're going to, like, have joint custody of this wheelchair? Or are you going to get another one later?
I was hoping that OP could talk to the stepsister.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, I love you, girly.
Can't give this to you.
Can't give it to you. I just want to give you a heads up before you get mad. But also, I'm getting a hint that the stepsister would be a brat about it, and you can't even
Yeah.
make amends on that end.
Yeah. I feel like they're probably just like their mom.
Oh boy. I think they're gonna kick her to the streets since she's 18 with no wheelchair.
I
No
hope
wheelchair.
not. Well, no, they can't because OP lives with her dad right now, or is staying with her dad. So clear, like OP would be fine even if they didn't let her come over
Yeah.
to the mom's house.
Update. I'll be the first to admit that I'm an idiot sandwich. After reading all the comments, I was going to speak to my dad about the whole situation, but being me, I simply said that stepsister was getting surgery so mom wouldn't have time for me to hang with her. So I also asked if he'd be fine with me staying the weekend since I'd be gone all day with friends, and they were even talking about getting dinner afterwards. No use going to mom's, which is 3 hours in the opposite direction.
Dang.
I had a ton of fun during the tour.
Woo.
Let's go.
Yay, you got your tour and you had your wheelchair.
Let's go, Queen. It was really amazing. My friends kept rotating who would push me since people would move me forward for the best view. To anyone apprehensive about doing activities with a visible disability, wheelchair, cane, guide dog, etc., I couldn't express how fun it was during the tour and at the restaurant. I used to have the mentality that I was always in people's way and was used to getting stared at with my cane. But having friends show up with a small cape for the back and other trinkets really gave me confidence. And if I ran into anything, I could blame it on the person driving.
Aw, that's sweet. I'm
That's
glad
so
that you
cute.
have friends who like actually recognize that you have a disability rather than your mom and like are supportive of you.
One time, I had a friend. I would go and play basketball at different places around the county, and my friend's dad was in a wheelchair. Kyle Justice's dad, Ron. And he would always be in a wheelchair. And one time he was like in front of a door, just kind of like hanging out, and this one person like opened it and hit him. And he's like, "No, I can't walk anymore." And they were like, "I'm so sorry." He's like, "It's fine. You're okay."
I already couldn't walk.
I also will never, ever, ever use a handicap stall again because one time I did when I was in like 7th grade.
Oh, like a bathroom stall?
And then he came to use the bathroom and I was in the handicap stall. And I was like,
dang.
and I had to like hear him move around to get in the other stall. And I was like, dude, I could have just easily went there. Because you never
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
oh,
They're just bigger.
yeah.
You're like, oh.
Honestly, I never thought that people use handicap stalls because they were handicapped. I just thought they were just bigger
Big
bathrooms.
stalls.
Yeah. And then that day I realized, oh,
Yeah. Well, sometimes also in the women's bathroom, it's because they have like the baby changing station.
got it. Well, I was neither. They
Yeah.
have that too
You weren't
sometimes.
changing your
dads.
baby or handicapped. You're a bad person.
I was. I felt horrible. Oh, man. The idiot sandwich part came when I was on my way home and I got a livid phone call from my dad. He said that mom had been trying to call me all day. I'd blocked her number and she claimed that both mom and stepdad were at the house asking for the wheelchair since I had promised to give it to them. When I clarified that mom had said she wanted to use it, I told her about the trip so I couldn't let her borrow it. By the time I got home, mom and stepdad were already gone and dad was waiting on the porch smoking a cig, which meant he was very stressed. My friend asked if I needed help getting my wheelchair into my car. I said no, since it's harder to yell at a person in a wheelchair.
Smart.
He found it funny. Dad didn't. Dad said he told mom to buzz off. She tried using the "it's my kid" logic, but it doesn't work since I was already 4 hours away. She then proceeded to throw a tantrum in our front yard, throwing herself on the floor and crying.
That's so embarrassing. I'm sorry, she threw herself on the floor and started crying? That's so embarrassing.
Let's think about the logic here. Mom is 3 hours away from this house. COVID time.
Yeah.
You know, gas is pretty cheap. Things are pretty
That's true.
tough.
She drove 3 hours. Well, it was 3 hours in the opposite direction of
The tour.
the tour, so maybe not necessarily.
An hour.
Yeah, let's say
An
like an
hour.
hour
Hour
from wherever they were going, hour and a half. She drove an hour and a half to steal her daughter's wheelchair and then threw a tantrum on the floor.
You could have spent 20 minutes driving somewhere if you called around to pick up a wheelchair.
Also, just like gas prices.
They were pretty good during that time.
Yeah, but like I'm just thinking, how much you spend on gas for like
There
3
and
hours.
back.
Yeah, just buy some crutches.
And I bet you they definitely
20
stopped by
bucks.
the gas station and got drinks and stuff.
Yeah, I'm
and
like,
got
oh
lunch.
come on, you can spend $30.
Yeah, OP sent her $40 crutches.
Yeah, you can spend that.
It really doesn't surprise me at this point. Stepdad just gathered her up into the car and they left shortly after. Quite the show from what Dad said. Even some neighbors came out to see what the fuss was about. I haven't heard anything from her since I got home, but I did get a random long paragraph text from what seemed like the POV of a punted dog saying, "How could you do this to me?" And "I thought we were family." Not sure if this was from my mom or stepsister. Since I've blocked that number as well, I don't really care at this point. Dad is still agitated at me for not telling the whole truth, but seeing as it's my birthday soon, I don't see him staying angry for long.
Yeah, you can't stay mad at you. It's your birthday.
Yeah, you can't be mad at your disabled birthday girl.
Yeah, that's probably what I can see based off of this post. I feel like OP is being like, but Dad, I can't walk and it's my birthday.
Come
You
on.
can't be mad at me.
And he throws her like a pack of cigs.
Yeah, and he's like, all right.
You're good. Oh, man. As for going no contact with my mom, it's up in the air. It's easier to say, don't ever talk to her again, especially when I see others with their moms. But I guess it's time to see her for who she is rather than what I want her to be. Edit, it's nice to know others have strained relationships with their moms. Everyone I know is pretty close with their parents, so I found myself trying very hard to have the same relationship. I've since gone over the video in our Ring doorbell to see what had happened. Although you can't really see what's happening, you can definitely hear mom screaming over anyone who tries to tell her either to leave or calm down. She always demanded to see me. That's when my dad told her to buzz off, which set off the tantrum. It would be funny if it was in a compilation somewhere on YouTube, but it's just sad at this point. By the way, you can never be sad going on your favorite podcast platform, searching up OK Storytime on iHeartRadio, Apple, or Spotify. And we have so many stories just like this for you. As for my dad being angry, he came in this morning asking what we were doing for my birthday breakfast. He's used to my mom being a little out there. I've since shown him my post, and he told me about some old wounds I'd forgotten about. For example, my mom had gone on a camping trip with her boyfriend at the time. During the week, she was supposed to have me 50-50 custody. She didn't call Dad until 3 days later, saying she wasn't getting a signal. She still didn't come and get me until the next switch. I really didn't want to go, but still hurt as a kid waiting in the car for your other parent just to not show. Dad dragged her back to court to get primary custody, and if you know anything about family court, a father getting that is pretty hard. But
Dang.
OP, I hope you're rolling around, having a great time,
Yeah.
and more tours are coming your way.
Yeah, it seems like at least your dad's, willing to fight for you.
Yeah.
That's good. Seems like you have one good parent.
And you have some cool friends.
Yeah, it seems like your friends are super supportive, which is great. But that's the end of that story, and we've got another one coming your way. My half-brother's stepmother blamed me for being a bad influence.
Be a better one then.
I, 17 female, have a half-brother, 8 male. We share a mom, but have different dads. I don't see him often since he primarily stays with his dad, who I'll call Jeff. By the way, this comes from Mother's Secret Lover. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And we haven't been through every situation that we read about, but we try to give the best advice we can. If you've been in these situations, let us know what you would do. OP says, Jeff has been married to Amelia for a few years now. She has 3 kids prior to their relationship, and now she and Jeff have had 2 more kids together. None of their children are old enough to drive. Amelia doesn't like me because she sees me as an extension of my mother. They had a falling out since my mom dated Amelia's brother. Whoa.
Oh, boy.
Wait, what? Wait, sorry.
Uh-oh.
Jeff married Amelia,
Yep.
and then OP's mom and Amelia were friends?
Yep. And then OP's mom dated Amelia's brother.
Dang. Wow. Who turned out to be harmful, and Amelia called my mom a liar. I don't want to force a relationship with her, so I just leave it alone. I rarely see my brother outside of birthdays and have no relationship with his step/half siblings. I live very close to my brother's school, and while I generally don't like kids or being around them, I've agreed to pick him up from school a handful of times when Amelia couldn't. Jeff's hours don't allow him to do so, and she's a stay-at-home mom. This all happened this past May. I'm fairly alternative, dyed hair, and multiple facial piercings, and I'm used to getting odd looks or questions from children. But I never had to get out of the car to pick my brother up, so this was never an issue. My brother was sick and needed to be taken home early, so Jeff called and asked me to pick him up. I wasn't busy, so I agreed. This was the first time I'd needed to actually enter the building, but I was on the approved pickup list, so I didn't have any issues. I went inside, got to the nurse, got my brother, and dropped him off back home with no problems. Until Amelia called me the next day.
What did she do wrong here?
Oh, Amelia. I was unaware she even had my number, so I declined her calls at first. When I finally answered, she began to scream at me for getting her in trouble with the school.
Huh?
What? What's the issue here? I asked what she meant, as again, I had no problems picking him up, and she started to berate me for scaring my brother's classmates. Apparently, one of the other children in the nurse's office had been scared of me, as well as a few kids asking questions when I walked past open classrooms. I don't have any extreme body modifications, literally just hair and piercings, but the boy from the nurse cried to his teacher, same class as my brother. That's ridiculous. That little boy needs to get over it. Why is he crying about hair? What the heck?
I'm trying to think through this kid's mind. Because kids react all crazy and whatever. But, I don't know.
No.
The kid can react that way, but
the
adults...
Yes.
But the adults are like, oh, yeah, that's just how people are.
Yeah, it's
sometimes.
Then you go and have a conversation with the kid and be like, no, like everyone looks different. And, she's not scared. She's really nice. She's just picking up her brother.
Mm-hmm.
You explain things to them.
Yep.
That's why, like, let's say a person doesn't have, I don't know, an arm. They're missing an arm. And a kid goes like, why doesn't that man have an arm? And starts crying. You'd be like, no, people have different, bodies. And we explain this politely.
The memes with kids looking at people that are, like, disabled and like, what's that? Why is your arm all messed up like that? Why do you have a robot hand? What do you do with that?
Yeah.
Are you a robot?
Kids don't know what they're talking about. That's what you explain to them.
Yeah, and they're 8.
They're 8. The teacher then notified Amelia and requested I no longer do pickups. I don't even think this is legal. Maybe not the right word, but I mean, I should be able to make a complaint about her requesting this since it was based on physical appearance. I caused no disruption, and the only people I even saw were the secretary, front desk admin, the nurse, and the kids in the nurse's office. Either way, Amelia told the teacher that was not an option, but she would tell me to take out my piercings next time I was at the school. I feel like multiple empty holes in my face would be scarier than piercings, but that's neither here nor there.
Okay, I'm gonna need a picture of what you look like now, so I can really understand.
I need to know if an 8-year-old would be scared of you for real, or if that was just a sensitive 8-year-old.
Yeah, is there like, I don't know, a celebrity or someone you could show us so we can kind of get the vibe?
Yeah, just tell us exactly what piercings you have. I told Amelia I would not be taking out my piercings every single time I picked him up, and that usually I don't even go inside the building or see anyone for this to be a problem. I don't pick them up often, but I have quite a few piercings. It takes me around an hour, sometimes longer, to take them all out, clean them, and put them back in. Those little balls are obnoxious to screw back in with long nails and shaky hands. While I wouldn't be cleaning them every time I picked them up, it is a long and tedious process that I don't like to do more than necessary. She told me it wasn't a big ask, and while I agree it mostly isn't, I feel more disrespected than anything because I think that's a fairly unprofessional way for the teacher to behave. Amelia told me the teacher had every right to protect her students. How are you protecting the students?
Everyone close your eyes, she's back.
That's absolutely ridiculous. What exactly are you protecting your students from?
Literally, that's the easiest thing you can do to protect the students from this. Oh, everyone, watch out. There's someone has a tattoo. Close your eyes, hurry. Go ahead. Oh, no, this person doesn't have a leg. Guys, close your eyes.
Close your eyes.
It's a robot leg.
And that either way, I shouldn't be punishing her because she wasn't the one asking. I was even more offended by this because I'm not a threat or danger. I literally am just alternative. I realized I didn't mention this before, but my outfit was also entirely appropriate. It was plain black sweatpants and a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt. Amelia said this was the reason she didn't allow me to be around her kids. I've never asked to be around them since I don't like kids. I said if she has an issue with me, she can lose my number and find someone else to pick my brother up when she can't. She continued to scream at me and tell me I was just like my mom, which was when I finally hung up and blocked her. When you're trying to get someone to do something for you, it's not helpful to scream at them.
Unless you don't want them to do it again.
Unless you don't want them to do that thing.
Which, I'm getting that vibe.
I've seen my brother maybe twice since then, since I primarily communicate with him through Jeff. We play Roblox together, but he doesn't have a phone or social media. Jeff told me he was disappointed, and I told him he has no authority over me, so I don't really care what he had to say.
I told Jeff, he's 8.
Yeah. Well, no, Jeff's not 8. Jeff's her dad.
Oh, Jeff's mad, disappointed?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought the 8-year-old was
No,
disappointed.
that'd be funny. I'm disappointed in you. I don't care what you have to say. You're 8. Let's play Roblox.
Get on here.
The issue hasn't been discussed since then until today. My brother starts school next week, and Jeff called me and told me Amelia requested I started picking up my brother up again. I said no and reminded him of what happened last time. He began to get very aggressive, saying that they weren't asking for much. I told him it was no longer about the request, and it was how his wife spoke to me. I said I wouldn't do them any favors of any kind. He began to guilt trip me and ask how my brother would feel knowing his sister can't stand to be around him, and threatened to not let me come to my brother's birthday in a few weeks. I told Jeff I don't care about not attending my brother's birthday since I don't even like kids, and I would just see my brother another time. He told me he wouldn't let me be around my brother until I apologized to his wife and agreed to pick my brother up from school again. I told him I would only agree to pick my brother up with an apology from Amelia, and hung up. This puts me in a kind of difficult position because I could just see my brother when he has visitation with our mom, but we aren't on speaking terms right now. I would have to break our temporary no contact in order to do this. I live with my dad and his mother and see my mom 1 to 2 times a month max. My dad and grandma say I should just suck it up and apologize to Amelia. They don't have a good relationship with my mom, and she hasn't been allowed to step foot in the house since I was 12. But I really don't want to do this. Me and my brother aren't particularly close, but we have a good relationship, and I don't want to jeopardize it because of an issue I have with his stepmom. I know he enjoys spending time with me because I'm his only sister. All of Amelia and Jeff's kids are boys, so I don't want to hurt him over this. Am I the a-hole for refusing to pick my brother up from school until his stepmom apologizes? And there is an edit, but what do you think OP should do?
Just not pick up the brother. I don't know, write the brother or get the brother like a little gift. Like, yo, man.
The thing is, they need you more than you need them.
Exactly. All I see is you helping and them being,
Yelling.
I don't know, I guess, like angry that you helped or helped in your own way and not by their ways. And then now is demanding you to help more.
Yeah.
How does that make any sense? You just don't help anymore.
Yeah. I think if you could, like, figure out a day where you could go talk to your brother and say, like, hey, still love hanging out with you. If they say that I don't, that's not true.
There's some big adult problems. You don't even want to know. Big adult stuff. Oh, what's that? So you know how Godzilla and King Kong like had that movie where they were fighting each other? And then you just explain it that way.
But 8-year-olds are pretty smart. I feel like when you're 8, you
Yeah.
can kind of figure out what's going on.
Dude, my brothers when they were 8 were very too sharp.
No, I've babysat a lot of 8-year-olds. I feel like
Very witty.
I think people kind of misunderstand, not parents, but people don't have kids, misunderstand like when a kid starts to be able to, really understand things. And I feel like, around like 5, they're talking in full, they get things. They understand what's going on.
Especially the youngest brother out of 4. Like Ryder was walking like, I think like 14 months in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was
like 2-year-olds they're running around. 2-year-olds are crazy. 2-year-olds have so much energy.
Especially if they were born during the vid years.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a COVID baby?
I have.
They're somehow have superpowers.
Dude, I had to babysit a 2-year-old who this was in 2023.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, she was so cute, but she had so much energy. I would babysit her for 5 hours at a time, like every time I would go, and literally would not stop running in those 5 hours. Like we would do laps around the house because I don't know, our games were always some sort of tag related thing.
Yeah.
or I don't know, with toys, but it was literally like constant running. I got such a workout.
That's crazy. I would love
Yeah, they figure out how to
show up-
walk and they just go.
if I was a babysitter and your kid has a bunch of energy, I would love to come with a clipboard and just have a list of activities
Yeah.
and see how many reps I can do with this kid
Yeah.
before they get tired.
Yeah.
Tag. They seem to like this tag thing. All right, go. Go. Go.
You just tire them out.
100 times later.
OPE,
This is great.
you
This
need
is
to tell
insane.
your 8-year-old brother that
You love him.
You love him. Yeah. Edit. A few of the replies seem kind of confused since the post is long. To clarify, I'm a girl and I have zero relation to Jeff or Amelia. Me and my brother share a mother and stay with our respective fathers, his being Jeff. Amelia is Jeff's wife, my brother's stepmom. I do not live with Amelia and Jeff. It's crazy that, like, I think I understood that, but just having that laid out clearly, it's pretty insane that they're expecting so much of OP, but also being rude when they're asking for this favor. Crazy. I've decided to take advice from a few comments and call the school and ask if there is a policy stating I cannot pick my brother up with facial piercings. That's also a probably better idea because that way you can just go back to picking them up and don't have to take your piercings out.
Straight to the source.
I will likely either agree to disagree with Amelia depending on how the call with the school goes and her reaction, or resume contact with my mom to see my brother during visitation. Thanks for the advice. And there is an update.
Okay.
Let's get into it. I did what many of you said and emailed the school to ask if there was any policy stating I couldn't do pickups or drop-offs or be on campus due to piercings. Like most of you said, they said no.
Oh.
Do you think that Amelia lied about it just because she didn't want OP to wear piercings?
Probably. I would also ask that.
Yeah.
Hey, I was in here a few weeks ago. I upset a kid. Are they okay? Is everything okay?
And they're like, what kid? What are you talking about? I explained why I was asking, and they said they would ask the teacher about the incident, but told me there was nothing they could do if Amelia took me off the pickup list. I thanked them and gave them my number, requesting they call me once they were done investigating the incident with the teacher. The next day, the school called me to let me know the teacher confirmed there was a staring issue and a few questions from my brother's classmates. I had stood in the doorway and waited for him to collect his things after checking him out of the nurse's office, but that was all, and she did not say anything of the sort to Amelia. Oh, well. I decided to call Jeff and let him know about my conversation with the school and reiterated I would only continue to pick my brother up with an apology from his wife or at least some kind of acknowledgement that she had lied to me. He told me he would have Amelia call me, so I unblocked her and waited.
Dang, it looks like
Dang.
you have all the cards in your hand, OP.
Yeah,
And they
nice.
have none.
None of them.
Oh, wait. They do have one. The blame card. And it's not working.
Not working. She did call to apologize, but it was very reluctant, and she dropped the bombshell that she's pregnant again and used that as an excuse. Come
Dang.
on.
She had the pregnant card.
She's like, I just reacted so badly because I'm hormonal.
Hormones. Dang it.
That's it.
We should.
Yeah.
You know what would be funny is if we
What?
had cards like there's like a Yu-Gi-Oh game where like you can put a card down and it has different effects. I guess like Pokemon too.
I play hormonal.
I play pregnant card. Effects, hormones, and cons. Like I don't know. Could cause
Hormones.
this. Yeah.
I decided to just let it go because I don't want to damage my relationship with my brother, and it just wasn't worth it. Until today, when I picked my brother up, he asked why I have so much metal in my face. He's never said anything before about the piercings unless I've gotten a new one, so I asked what caused him to bring it up. Again, a lot of you were correct. One of Amelia's older sons had asked to get his ears pierced, and she attributed it to me, even though I never see my brother's step or half-brothers. She's been complaining about it often around my brother, I guess trying to bait him into saying my piercings bothered or scared him too. I asked him if they did scare him, and he said no, and he doesn't really think about them. But Amelia constantly said things like, I just don't understand why she does that to herself. She's so pretty without the metal crowding her face. I'm not sure how relevant this is, but her and my mom were close friends before their falling out. Amelia has a son about 1.5 years younger than me, not the one asking to get his ears pierced, and she often joked about setting us up before I started leaning more alternative. That's weird. I know that you guys aren't related at all, but it just feels weird. To want to set up your son with your stepson's half-sister. That's weird. I think that's where the she's so pretty comments come from. I was frustrated but didn't want to upset my brother, so I just decided to change the subject. Instead of dropping my brother off and immediately leaving, I told Amelia I wanted to come inside and speak to her.
Uh-oh.
She told me it wasn't a good time, and I insisted it was. So she came outside and we talked on the porch. I told her again that if my piercings were an issue, she could find someone else to pick my brother up, but I would appreciate it if she stopped complaining about them to the rest of the family. She told me it was none of my concern what she said in the privacy of her own home, and I said it was my concern when she was actively trying to bait my half-brother into speaking negatively about me. But I would never speak negatively about you. If you listen to full episodes with stories just like this, just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
She played the hormone card. She tried to, and you called her bluff.
Yeah, I also like that she was like, oh, it's not a good time. And OP was like, yeah, it is.
It is
We're
for
going to do it
me.
right now.
I love the tenacity. Is that the right word? I love the tenacity you have here, OP. And I wish more people shared this when calling others BS out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going through a situation right now where I need to call some BS out. I don't have the tenacity to do it.
You got to keep pushing.
Can you lend me some?
Yeah. Handsome over, OP. She again told me she could say whatever she wanted in her own house, and I was just too tired to argue.
Dude, okay, real quick on that
man.
comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want in your own house, but somehow it got out of the house and
Yeah.
it came into my ears.
Oh, that's so funny because what you're saying inside your house, I'm hearing about. So how is that private?
Yeah, so it is my concern because it's somehow
Yeah.
leaving your house and traveling all the way to my ears.
That would be like saying, oh, like if a parent was teaching their kid,
Yeah.
was saying bad words or something in their own house, and then teacher says like, hey, your kid's been like using a lot of swear words, and they're like, well, I can say whatever I want in the privacy of my own home. It's like, well, yeah, but it's gonna get
True.
out when you have kids.
Yeah,
They're little parrots.
they are. Oh my gosh, they
Yeah.
are.
She again told me she could say whatever she wanted in her own house, and I was just too tired to argue. I told her if my brother came to me again to tell me she'd been complaining about me, I would stop picking him up and just see him during my mom's visitations with him. She was very huffy but agreed and went back inside, slamming the door in my face. This should be the last update. I'm just going to tolerate Amelia in order to maintain contact with my brother because I don't care about her antics and I have enough other things going on. I'll continue only communicating with Amelia and Jeff when necessary, and hopefully nothing else will come out of this. Thanks for the support, y'all. And that is the end of that story, folks.
Baller move.
Yeah, you're doing great, OP. You're doing great.
Yeah, this.
I think that was kind of like the best thing that you could have done.
Yeah, good step by step. Check in with the school. Check in with the teacher.
Yeah.
Confronting the mom. Is there a way for you to step back from? See, the thing though is if you step back and don't help as much, it's gonna directly affect the brother.
Well, yeah, you get less contact with brother. So
And
I think
that's-
OP's strategy here of just being like, if you don't respect me, I'm not going to drive,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And you need me to drive. Because
Yeah.
if they didn't need her, then they'd do it you know.
They'd say you can't ever pick him up again.
Yeah,
Bye.
exactly. But they need her to pick him up.
Such a silly way of trying to get an apology out of OP,
Yeah.
and then it just blows up in your face
Yep.
and doesn't work.
Silly. But that's the end of that story. I refuse to contribute to my stepson's college fund after what he said to me.
You don't deserve the money anymore.
My 39 male and my wife, Emily, 38 female, have been married for 12 years. Emily has a son, James, 17, from a previous relationship with Dan. Emily left Dan when she caught him cheating with a coworker. Yikes. They shared 50-50 custody of James. By the way, this comes from FunElephant6393, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. I met Emily about a year after she had left Dan. A year later, Dan married his affair partner, and Emily and I got married soon after. James never really bonded with me. I admit that I tried a little too hard initially to get him to like me, but I backed off when I realized I was trying too hard and it was having the opposite effect. Over the years, we've built a tense acceptance of sorts, if that makes sense. Emily and I have 3 kids together. 10 female, 7 male, and 4 male. James doesn't have a good relationship with them either. He bonds well with Dan's sons, but he doesn't like spending much time with our kids. He isn't mean to them, but mostly just ignores them. The eldest 2 now avoid him when he is home. Emily and I both have well-paying jobs, and early on we decided that I would contribute 80% to our trio's college fund, and Emily would contribute 20%. In return, Emily would contribute 100% to James's college fund. We didn't know if Dan was making any such arrangements on his end, but we thought at least this way James would have something instead of nothing. Emily recently sat James down to talk to him about his college fund. He seemed happy with the financial help he was going to get. But when he went off to Dan's for the weekend and came back, he asked Emily about our kids' college fund. When he learned that the amount was fairly higher than his, he was upset. When he asked about the disparity, Emily explained our college fund arrangement. He was furious to know that I hadn't contributed to his college fund. He accused me of just pretending to play family with him all these years, saying I really didn't care about him and that I was heartless. Emily suggested that we could take some money out of our youngest's fund and give it to James, and that she would add it back over time. But she said it was my call and that she wouldn't pressure me either way. Why can't we just talk to Dan?
Yeah, right? Well,
Because I understand why James might be upset. Like saying I thought we were family, but here you are,
right.
clearly prioritizing your other kids over me. However, it makes total sense if Dan is contributing too. Because then it would be like, we don't also need OP
Yeah,
to
exactly.
contribute when we have two other parents contributing.
Right. Especially if he is, OP still is contributing.
Yeah.
It's just not quite as much as he's giving. Yeah,
No, OP's not contributing to
Not at all?
James. No, because
Oh.
the thing is, OP is contributing 80% to his biological kids.
Gotcha.
And then Emily is contributing the rest, that final 20% and entire 100% of James.
Gotcha.
So that's why James is upset, because
I
OP's
see.
like, I'm not paying any of that.
Gotcha. I thought it was just a little bit, but
Yeah.
not as much as the other kids.
No, he's
but-
not paying any of it, which is why James is
Gotcha.
upset. But
Yeah.
I'm like, if we just ask Dan how he's going to contribute, then it
Right,
might not be
right.
an issue at all. She said she would accept whatever I decided. Quite frankly, I don't want to do it. James idolizes his father, even though he knows Dan cheated on his mother. I can deal with James's crappy behavior towards me, but I never understood his attitude towards our kids. We even tried going to family therapy, but James refused because he said I wasn't his family. Now, when he needs money, suddenly I am family. I know I'm perhaps being petty, but I don't want to give him the money. Am I the a-hole? Edit, I think some clarifications are in order. I don't hate that James idolizes his father. I hate that he blames his mother for their family breaking up. When James was 13, he heard from one of his older cousins on Dan's side about what his father did that led to Emily leaving. When he confronted Emily, she explained. We tried for therapy then, but it didn't happen. Last year, he told his mother he believed she was responsible. He said that instead of leaving Dan, she should have forgiven him and stayed. Emily was understandably shocked and asked him if the situation were reversed, if she had cheated on Dan and Dan left her, would it then be Dan's fault the family broke up? James said no, it would definitely be her fault, and gave no further explanation. This wasn't the result of an argument or heat of the moment words. Ironically, it was a casual dinner table conversation. The other kids had to be excused. When Emily and I got serious, she had wanted to take James to a child therapist to help him adjust. But since they had 50-50 custody, Dan's consent was needed, and he refused. Later, when we were planning to get married, we tried again, but Dan dismissed the idea. He said he got married before us, and since James has no issues then, we were overreacting. When the incident at the dinner table happened, Emily was pregnant with our daughter. We tried again after last year's incident. This time, we asked James directly. We thought if he agreed, we could work around custody since he was almost an adult. But he refused, saying I wasn't family. For those saying I treated James like an outsider, we tried. When Emily and I started earning well, we wanted to splurge on our kids during birthdays and holidays. James was never excluded. Whatever our kids got, he got too. In fact, since he was older, he got to pick what he wanted. For his 11th birthday, he wanted to go to Disney World. Both of Dan's kids were invited. His youngest son and my daughter are the same age, and James went, but she wasn't invited. We stayed home. We started the college funds about a year after our daughter was born. Emily couldn't start one for James earlier because she was a stay-at-home mom when she was with Dan. It took her a while to get back on her feet financially. She wasn't in a position to immediately start a fund for him. A lot of you pointed out he has been shortchanged. Emily will rectify that and make up the deficit by the time he starts college, but that will still not make it as much as our other three. We have decided to sit and chat with him this weekend about everything. And there are some comments. Overrice2524 says he has two parents to contribute to college. They can find him. Sounds like Dan had better step up. OP says, I doubt that would happen. Dan has never been good at keeping a steady income flow, and his wife is a stay-at-home mom. They aren't desperately struggling to make ends meet. but I could make an educated guess to say Dan is probably not saved up for any of his kids' college funds. Aunt Savant says, by the way the story reads, this is exactly what Dan is afraid of. The kid was excited, then went to see Dad, then he came back asking loaded questions. Dan saw the potential to look like a bad guy and redirected. Edit to add, the boy is 17 and idolizes his father. If there is an age to be super naive about idols, that's it. I wouldn't assume he's a lost cause. Idols tend to disappoint. Fair Theme 9388 says, not the a-hole, but why in the world did your wife tell him about your other kids' college funds? It's simply none of his business, and giving him the details was just gonna upset him. He was perfectly fine with the arrangement before he knew the younger kids are getting more than him. Your wife is the a-hole for opening up a conversation about money with her 17-year-old son, and even more of the a-hole for suggesting you take money out of the other kids' funds to make James happy. I don't blame him for getting upset, but your wife needs to contribute more to his fund if she wants to make him happy. Lam Vano says, the bio dad definitely told him to ask about the other kids' college accounts. Magician Worried says, that would explain the sudden change in attitude after his weekend with Dad. There is an update 3 days later. It's been an eye-opening weekend. Thanks to everyone who weighed in, even the aggressive ones. I knew what I was signing up for posting on Reddit. Before the update, a couple of clarifications because gaps in info turned into wild assumptions. When I said I came on a little too strong with James when we met, some of you pictured grabbing a toddler by the neck and hissing, "Call me daddy." No, I was nervous and acted like an idiot and used an over-the-top baby voice because I'd barely been around toddlers. Emily later said I sounded like a circus clown on 2 cartons of Red Bull. Cringe? Absolutely. Malicious? No. Many had questions regarding therapy. I shared the timeline in a comment thread, so I'm not going to rewrite that again. Did he come into James's life when he was a toddler? I thought it was later. But it sounds like he just said, I came into James's life as a toddler.
Yeah.
When Emily and I started to get serious, she had wanted to take James to a child therapist who could help him adjust better to the changing situation around him. Since Emily and Dan shared 50-50 custody, if one parent refused, then we couldn't proceed. Unsurprisingly, Dan refused. Not James. James was a toddler, not old enough to give consent. When we were about to get married, we tried for therapy again. Dan, who had gotten married to his affair partner a couple of months earlier, refused again. He said James is fine with his marriage, so there was no reason for him to not be fine with ours. He further insinuated that going to a therapist would make James feel like something was wrong with him when he was perfectly fine and we were overreacting. When James found out about Dan cheating on his mother being the reason why they ended things, Dan said wanting to take James to therapy was Emily and my way of brainwashing him, instilling thoughts in his head about how evil his dad was. So yeah, he refused again. When Emily was pregnant with our daughter, therapy was requested. Therapy was denied. Reason, Dan said James was fine with his son, so therapy was not needed. We did speak to our lawyer to ask if we could still approach the court to say Dan keeps refusing therapy that is most certainly hampering our relationship. Our lawyer said technically Dan was right. James wasn't showing the same level of detachment with his family that he was with ours. It could have tilted the custody arrangement in Dan's favor. When James accused Emily of being the reason their family broke up, we offered therapy as an option again. Since James was 17 now, we asked him directly, hoping if he agreed, we could circumnavigate the need for Dan's consent, since James was nearly an adult. James refused, saying I wasn't his family, so family therapy wasn't necessary. I haven't resented James since the day I met him. I don't exactly resent him now either. I'm just tired of the whole situation. And end of comment says, many called my wife the a-hole for sharing the college fund amounts for our kids. I showed her the post. She explained James came back from Dan's with questions about when the fund started, how much, etc. He said, paraphrasing, so mine is XXX and theirs is Y, with his X higher than our kid's Y. Without thinking, yes, stupidly, Emily corrected him, no, yours is A and theirs is B. That snowballed into what I wrote earlier. It wasn't a diabolical plan to make me pay more. It was a thoughtless correction. With that out of the way, Emily, James, and I sat down for a conversation yesterday. James didn't want to talk to me, but I told him that if he expected me to even think about contributing to his college funds, then I had loads of questions he needed to answer. It was an extremely long conversation, and many revelations came to be. So I'm going to give a summary of the things we finally found out from James. Even before Emily and Dan had broken up, not divorced, they were never married, Dan had occasionally brought James to his affair partner's place. So James was familiar with the affair partner. After the breakup, Dan immediately moved in with his affair partner. Emily, who was a stay-at-home mom until then, struggled initially to get back on her feet. Needless to say, James's home life with Emily was a little more chaotic than at Dan and his affair partners. Emily hadn't told James that she had left his father because he cheated on her. Telling that to a toddler wouldn't make sense. But apparently in the early days, Dan used to tell James that Emily would eventually come back to him. I think he may have been holding out hope for reuniting with Emily, and that's where I came in. Dan told James that as long as I was around, I would not let Emily go back to Dan. When Dan married his affair partner, he told James that it was temporary. Yikes! What is the affair? Does the affair partner know any of this?
Wait, he said what was temporary?
So he's saying that his relationship with the affair partner is temporary, even though he just married her. He's saying, I'm going to go back to your mom, Emily. My relationship with this person I cheated on her with
and then
is
that's
just
probably
temporary.
that would make sense why James is blaming the mom for breaking up the family then. Is
Because she never came back.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
When we got married, he told James that it was my way of making it even more difficult for Emily to get back to their family. When James found out from his cousin, Dan's side, that his father had cheated on his mother, he asked Emily about it. She was open and honest. But when James confronted Dan, Dan said Emily had left him for a long time and his loneliness made him miss her a lot. So he found some comfort with the affair partner. Emily's father had met with a car accident and she was with her parents for about 3 weeks to help them. And that was all the alone time Dan could handle before he needed to dip his wick in something. Yikes. But it was a reasonable enough explanation for James to absolve his father of all sins. When Emily got pregnant with our daughter, Dan told James that now that I had started pumping my spawn into his mother, exact words James used, James's family was destroyed forever. Dan told James that Emily and I wanted to take him to therapy was actually a ruse. What we were really trying to do was take him to a doctor who would declare him a problem child, and then we would ship him off to a boarding school so we could continue to play a happy family without being bothered by him. Dan told him only Dan and his family were fighting to keep James with them. James admitted that he had hoped his detached behavior around my family and his happy behavior around Dan's would convince Emily that my kids and I were evil and she would eventually leave us. But sadly, I kept knocking up his mom, making it harder for her to leave. Expectedly, Emily was beyond distraught to hear everything. To be honest, in the moment, I couldn't wrap my head around it either. I asked James if Dan had a college fund saved up for him and his sons. James said the affair partners had set up a trust fund for Dan's son, but that didn't include James since he isn't their grandson. Dan hasn't saved up anything for anyone. I asked James why he suddenly thought I should contribute to his fund when he turned down every opportunity for us to be a family. He said he was actually fine with the amount Emily initially told him, but Dan made him realize that we were undercutting him, so he came back to demand more. I asked if I paid the money, would that then make us family? Even if he couldn't accept me as a step-parent, could we at least be friends? Could he be friendlier with my kids when he was around? He straight up said no. He said that after all these years, he knows neither I nor my kids are the evil beings his father made us seem. But he still feels I am the reason his parents could never get back together again, and for that he will always hate me. Since my kids are my kids, he's never going to like them either. Now that he knows Emily isn't going to leave her family, he said his plan was once he was off to college, he would cut off contact with all of us. He does plan to eventually get back in touch with his mother when he feels he is ready to forgive her for breaking up his family. But he can't do that right now. Emily and I have had a long and honest discussion. I have decided that I will not be making any contributions to James's college fund. Emily will continue the contributions she was already making and hand it over to him once he turns 18. We will no longer be pursuing family therapy with James. We will not try to change his mind about going no contact with us after he goes off to college. We've done all that we could. We're going to stop now. If James is happy with Dan's family, then we're happy for him. It's going to be hard for Emily, but even she has accepted that after James' recent revelations, she's having a hard time reconciling her little boy with this cynical teenager. We have both taken individual and couples therapy before, mainly due to the stress and anxiety James's behavior used to put on us as a family. We are looking into starting again. Hopefully we'll be able to overcome this in time. And that is the end of that story, but dang.
Gosh.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why Emily would still contribute because she loves him, of course.
Right.
But I do wonder how James would react if you even just, not necessarily followed through with it, but even just threatened.
Yeah. My parents' business makes $500,000, but they expect me to work for free.
Give me some money.
My mother, 54 female, and stepfather, 55 male, decided early in 2020 that they wanted to start an online business. It involved a skill that my mother has that other people love to watch and participate in, Keeping this somewhat vague for privacy, I, 34 female, have always and will always agree that my mother is very talented and that she is able to do something that many other people could not. By the way, this comes from Mama G05, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
We're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We've never been in these situations, most likely. So we're just going to guess what we would do in this situation, but if you would do anything differently, let us know in the comments. So, OP says, on the other hand, my mother is terrible with technology. She constantly gets angry when things update, and she always calls me for help when she cannot figure it out. My stepfather is a throw the mouse against the wall kind of guy too. I was completely okay with my mother calling me when her phone updated, or to help her set up internet and stuff, but I told her before she started her online business that I did not have time to be here every time something happened with her business. For context, I'm a mother of 3, ages 3, 5, and 10, and I'm a painter and homesteader with a husband that works 60 plus hours weekly, which leaves many of the home tasks to me. I am good with technology. I know how to build websites and do many things that most millennials can do because we grew up as technology was evolving. So my mother feels that it is her right as my mother to ask for my help and expect it. When she went to make her website, she somehow created 3 different accounts, was charged money on each for different packages,
Girl.
and spelled her domain name incorrectly. She came to me begging for help, and like an idiot, I gave in. I spent 10 plus hours helping her create a website for her business and teaching her how to use it. I told her that this was a one-time thing to help her start because I wanted her to succeed. She initially said okay, but then a week later she messed up trying to post and needed my help again. This is when she used money to convince me to help. As a couple with 3 kids that at the time was living on 1 paycheck, my husband's, having extra cash to put towards things would help. So I agreed to work for my mother temporarily until she could hire out her IT department. She has paid me $200 2 times. My mother's business blew up. My stepfather quit his job and began to work with her from home. I know for a fact that this year, since January alone, my parents have made well over $100,000.
Dang!
And are looking to have made at least $500,000 by the end of the year. It is crazy. That being said, my mother still has not hired anyone to do her IT work and is still asking me for help.
At that point, you literally just say, hey, I'm doing this much work, log your hours, say,
Yeah.
love to continue to help, but I need to be paid this.
Right.
And if she refuses, then you don't help her.
Yeah, I've let it slide a lot because she's helped me to start an at-home business selling my paintings, and I honestly felt like I owed her. But I'm starting to feel overwhelmed. This week alone, she wants me to do things for her every day, and I have had to take care of a kiddo that had to have a tooth pulled, a tornado that hit my town and took out the internet and ruined our outdoor AC unit,
Oh my gosh.
and trying to run my own business as well as run my homestead. My mother is constantly telling me that her life is so hard with everything that she has to do, and that having to live with my stepfather is more work than what I have. Yes, you read that right. My stepfather is more work than 3 kids, 2 of which have ADHD and 1 that isn't potty trained yet. I truly know that she believes that too. Another problem my parents have is that they are not good with money. They spend it as they get it and have no savings or 401k. They are a live by the day type, and they both have health issues that are very serious and require tons of medication. They feel that they cannot afford an employee to help because they do not have the budget for one. I've tried to explain a part-time IT person would help the business so much that they would make more than what they spend having one. My parents are holding a huge event where they are selling tickets for $550 plus, and they are wanting me to design advertisements, make web pages, create swag bags, set up online sales, and much more for free. Not only that, but when I added my business name to the flyer, my stepfather had a fit about it and said that people are not paying to see me. For context, my mother and I have very similar businesses and share many of our clients. They also want me to spend the whole weekend of the event helping them to run it and coordinating it for free when they expect me to be making anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 in profit from the event. They think that paying for a room for my family to stay in while I work is payment enough. It is just too much for this mama to do on top of what I have to handle in my own household. I am wearing thin and feel like I'm being pulled into many directions at once. Not to mention that I'm trying to work on bettering my health since I found out that I am diabetic 6 months ago. What should I do to help my mother understand that the business she has created is too much for just her and my stepfather to run? How do I get them to understand that I cannot, in fact, do it all? Also, I am terrible at boundaries and I know it. It infuriates my husband that I allow them to run over me like I do. How do I set those boundaries when my mother calls me in tears, begging for my help and telling me that if I do not help, then they will have nothing? And we do have an update, but I feel like it's right there.
It's right there, OP.
If they're saying that if you don't help, then they'll have nothing, then you're like, well, don't you see how much I'm contributing and how much I'm making you guys money?
I think what you do is you print out all of the, like, definitely don't put it on email. They're not going to figure that out. Print out all of the tasks that you do. Say, this is what I do.
Yeah.
This is what, maybe you could even say, like, this is what other people who are doing my job get paid.
Yeah.
This is how long it takes me.
Right.
This is how much money I've been bringing in.
Yeah.
This is, how much money you guys get every year. You're at, like, whatever, 500 something thousand. You say, you don't have nothing.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that.
Exactly.
I'm going to send you a link to an accountant or a tech person.
Yes.
I'm going to send you a link to someone else. Right. If you would like to continue working with me, these are my hours, prices.
Yeah.
This is how much time I have to give to you, and don't respond to anything else.
First, I want to say thank you to everyone that gave me advice and called me out about being a complete pushover and allowing my parents to control my adulthood like they controlled my childhood. I realized a few very important things when replying to those comments. My husband may get angry, but it's justifiable anger. He loves me so much that he hates seeing how my family manipulates me. My kids deserve a mother that is not exhausted from being up late at night and working on something that realistically is not her problem. My parents need to stop using me as their safety net. They need to figure out not only their IT for their business, but also their financial and retirement. I have let the fact that my sister passed away from an OD this past October and that my parents found her make me soft. I know that seems harsh, but I have been handling my parents in a much more gentle fashion because I'm worried about their mental health from the whole situation. I cannot imagine how that has affected them. But I am done working for free today. That being said, I confronted my parents about all of this. Surprisingly, my mother was the one who brought up the fact that I looked tired. Then I segued into why. During a video call, she mentioned that I looked tired and asked if the kids were not letting me rest. I explained that actually, I've been staying up late to work on all of the tasks that she needed from me and was not going to bed until 4 a.m. I said it firmly, but not angrily. She told me that that was not good and that I needed to rest. I told her that I knew, but with everything I had to do to run my homestead, my own business, and take care of the kids, there was no time during the day. She seemed quiet and said, "Oh." That was when I told her that she needed to either hire this work out or start paying me. She asked if I really thought that they should because she really liked working with me. I explained that if that was the case, then I needed to be compensated so that I could justify not working on my business when I was working on hers. She suggested paying me for my time working at the event, paying me for what I was currently doing, and then hiring this out afterwards so they would not drag someone new in during the middle of everything. I agreed, but added that we needed to talk about her plans for retirement and what they would do if one of them passed away. She tried to say that they had plenty of time to figure those things out, but I interrupted her firmly.
Good.
I reminded her that people can pass away suddenly, that both she and my stepfather already had serious health issues, and that she would not want to be working in her 80s. I insisted that she needed to get a financial advisor before something happened that could cause it all to fall apart. I told her I could not pick up the pieces for her now that I had 3 kids and other responsibilities, and that I was only saying these things because I cared about both her and my stepfather. My mom paused, and for a moment, I thought I had ruined everything. She even looked angry, but then she said I was right. I could not believe it. My husband, who was off camera, was giving me silent thumbs up and fist bumps, just as shocked as I was. My mom admitted that she had not been the most responsible person when it came to how she treated me. She said that she had treated me more like a best friend than a daughter since her divorce from my dad, but that I had always been so mature. She even said that she did not think that she would have gotten divorced if I had not suggested it as a 6-year-old. Back then, I had told her and my dad that they needed one of those divorce things so they would not have to live together anymore and maybe could be happy. They fought a lot, and 6-year-old me only knew that my friend's parents lived in separate houses because they were divorced. She promised that she wanted to do better. She admitted that she could see how hard I was working and how stretched I was. She told me she needed to stop using me for computer stuff because it was wearing me out. She said she was proud of me, proud of how I was with my kids, and that I was a wonderful woman and a better mother than she could ever hope to be. At that point, I was almost crying. My husband had to sit down from shock. Never in a million years would I have thought that a conversation about this topic would go so well with my parents. I think the main factor in the success was that my stepfather was not present during the discussion. As bad as that sounds, he is very immature and tends to make things harder to talk about. After all of this, my mother and I discussed that she wants me to help onboard their next IT person and that she and my stepfather are going to look for a financial advisor next month. They are traveling for business this month, which is why they're putting it off. I agreed to help, but stayed firm that I would be paid for my time. She even told my stepdad that these things would happen whether he liked it or not. We are also drafting a contract to make sure that there is follow-through. So I will be helping with the last bit of work for their event, and then I will be resigning after showing my replacement what I have done. I'm sure they will know how to do it better anyway, since I really am just self-taught. My husband bought home pizza, crustless for this diabetic, and wine to celebrate. I feel relieved. Woo. Thank you all for telling me to pull my head out of the dirt and realize that this was not healthy and that I needed better boundaries. My husband and I have also talked, and if my parents do not follow through, we will be going low contact and maybe even no contact. I need to take this time to work on myself, improve my health, and focus on my family's needs. I do not know what I would do without the crazy man I married, but I am very thankful that he supports me and is willing to help me create healthy boundaries with my family. Again, thank you to everyone for the advice. And that is the end of that story.
Yay!
Yay! We love when things work out. That's
This is
so
perfect.
exciting.
My wife is worried about our son's behavior, but he got it from her.
Oh, well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree now, does it?
And there is a trigger warning here for mentions of my 48 male wife, Mary, 50 female, has always coddled our son, Mickey, 28 male. What a darling. Mickey was born premature and spent time in the NICU. Mary was very protective of him. She was a helicopter parent and constantly overextended herself for Mickey's sake. And by the way, this comes from user Original Station 321. One thing that annoyed me was that she would constantly hug and kiss our son. That wasn't a problem. The problem was she would be sad and moody if he didn't give her one. She also had a payment for a kiss thing with Mickey. I tried to tell her Mickey would grow older and he wouldn't appreciate being coddled by his mom so much, but she was convinced her precious baby boy wouldn't be a mean, nasty man who hated hugs and kisses. And I guess she was right. Mickey got married a few years ago to Diane. She is a stand-up woman with a good head on her shoulders. She's straightforward and logical. I was a little worried about Mary because everyone knows how mothers and daughter-in-laws don't get along, but she loved Diane, at least until Mickey came to her with his marital problems.
Ruh-roh.
Oh, you're running and telling on your wife to your moms?
Come on.
I mean, I guess that's right. I mean, you can do that, but like, that's gonna be,
it's got limits.
it's not gonna be an impartial opinion.
Right.
I mean, I guess sometimes it could be, but it doesn't sound like your mom's gonna be impartial.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be like, what did she do to my baby?
Right. She's just gonna be all. Mark my words.
Mark my words. She's gonna make those noises.
Yep.
In the past couple of years, he told Mary Diane was drifting away from him. They were very close to being separated, though I don't think my son would have ever divorced her. Long story short, Diane passed out at the wheel and got into a nasty accident.
Wow.
She was later told she had a autoimmune disease that has fatigue as a side effect. Diane needs a wheelchair most of the time, but she's not paralyzed. Mickey's been taking care of her, and he's doing a pretty good job. They seem to have a happy and stronger marriage. Today, my wife was a nervous wreck. She told me Mickey and Diane visited. Our town is not wheelchair friendly, so Diane needs a lot of help. Mary told me that Mickey asked Diane to pay him with hugs and kisses, and he was smothering her with affection. Okay, it's his wife. I asked Mary if Diane seemed afraid, upset, or annoyed, and she said no. I told Mary I didn't see a problem with an inside joke between a married couple. Mary burst out that it was wrong because of how helpless Diane was. I told her that 1, Diane wasn't helpless. And 2, our son's ridiculous behavior was her fault. Mary modeled that hugs and kisses were required to show love, and Mickey was doing what he learned. I mean, he learned the whole paying with a kiss thing from Mary. She stormed off and has been giving me the silent treatment. Am I the a-hole? No, it sounds like your wife is jealous of her son's partner for some reason.
Yeah, that's always a weird thing that we find in these stories of the mom being jealous of the daughter-in-law getting love from the son.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's just
weird.
Yeah, it's gross.
She's being like, well, I used to do that with him.
Yeah.
But, she's not saying that outright, but she's trying to spin it in like, well, what if Diane's uncomfortable and helpless?
Right.
It's like, well, she certainly doesn't seem that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Seems like they've turned the inside joke / whatever you want to call it. I don't know. It wasn't really a joke between you two, but now it's just a little cute thing.
Yeah,
Like a little cute thing in the couple.
Yeah. You should be happy. You're like, oh, look, he's passing on that cute thing that I did. He's carrying it through to his lovely wife.
Yeah, instead it's like, I am the only one who should have that kind of relationship with my son.
Weird alert.
Very weird, overbearing mom activities.
Yep.
We have some comments. Number 1, not the a-hole. Overall, it seems like your wife's ridiculousness worked out. I don't think this arrangement of paying with affection would have started when Diane got sick. It probably happened earlier in their relationship. And if Diane didn't like it, she would have communicated that at some point, hopefully. Your wife is butting into your son's relationship. There could be a number of reasons for that, but ultimately, it should stop. Sit her down and tell her that Diane is ill, but she's still of sound mind and can make her own decisions. This is a relationship dynamic that doesn't have to do with her illness, and it should be between Diane and Mickey. While it is 100% your wife's fault that Mickey does this, it's not productive to point it out to her, so you may want to avoid that. Good luck, OP. OP replies, it probably didn't start when Diane got sick, but I know Mickey did it a lot more. I think he feels guilty and worried for Diane's health, so he's showing his love the best way he knows how. I don't know why my wife is so upset. I would have thought she would be flattered and boast that she was right. Reply says she's upset because that was her thing with Mickey, and she doesn't want him doing it with anyone else. Pretending Diane is forcing it is a way of trying to put a stop to it. Another reply says, I don't think she's concerned. I think she's shocked that her thing with her little boy is now part of his and his wife's relationship. And there is an update. I agree with those comments.
Yeah, me too.
I don't even think... it's so weird to me that it's like the first one is like, yeah, sit her down and explain to her. It's like, this shouldn't even be an explain thing. It's like,
yeah,
it's 2 people in a marriage and he's doting upon his wife in a, whatever. It's cute.
Exactly.
It's cute, okay?
It's just cute.
It's cute.
There's a lot of things like that when you're a kid. It's like, yeah, kids and their moms will like cuddle or something like that. Like that's not something that you own, just because it's your son. It's like, yeah, he's gonna want to cuddle with his wife. It's like it feels like the same kind of thing.
Yes, and we do have an update.
Yeah. I'm curious.
Let's get a little deeper into this. A lot of the responses said that my wife Mary was jealous of Diane, our daughter-in-law, or inappropriately close with Mickey, our son. But she welcomed Diane with open arms and treated her as the daughter she never had. We invited Diane and Mickey over for a bite, well, at least Mary did. She commented a few times under her breath that Mickey was doing too much PDA and sent him to the grocery store. Then she interrogated Diane on if she felt comfortable, if anything was bothering her, and told Diane to let her know if anything ever worried her, because Mary would pick her up. No judgment. I was baffled. Diane thanked Mary, but said she was fine. Mickey came back and we had a nice time, though I noticed Mary kept an eye on them the entire time they were at our home. After they were gone, I turned to Mary and asked her what the heck she was doing. She stammered that she has no idea what I'm talking about. I told her that she was being really weird and asked her point blank if she was jealous that Mickey was doing their thing, so to speak, with Diane. She broke down and said she wasn't jealous. She was downright uncomfortable. Then she told me that she hated the way Mickey used an innocent thing between mother and child for husband and wife. You own the patent on hugs and kisses?
Come on, dude.
Are you serious?
On. That's crazy.
Those were totally
dude.
mine. Those were my kisses and hugs.
Yeah. She's like, ew, like something that a mother and son would do, a wife and his husband are doing. Ew, disgusting.
You've soiled the sanctity of my hugs and kisses.
Yeah, that's just so, it's got no logic behind it.
Just very strange.
Yeah.
So, I asked her why it bothered her. She said that it looks bad, a man demanding affection in exchange for helping his physically disabled wife. She emphasized that Diane was more helpless here than she could be. We lived in a mountainous town that's not really wheelchair friendly. Diane can't drive anymore, and she had to rely on Mickey. Mary had to ask Diane and make sure she was really okay. I asked her if she had so little trust in her own son to just be a good person. Mary said her own father seemed like a good person to others, but he was not a good father or husband. Mary's late mother was physically disabled and likely had anxiety and depression because of her disability and her husband's controlling behavior. She wasn't allowed to go out of the house and had no money. Her husband threatened to throw her in an asylum if she tried to leave with or without the kids. So, Mary's mother, my mother-in-law, would reward children with kisses and hugs if they helped her out. They did chores like washing dishes or laundry, or helping her make a meal in exchange for extra hugs and kisses since her mother didn't have an allowance to give them. Her mother passed away when she was a teenager. Mary had never mentioned much of her childhood before now. Mary passed that tradition down to Mickey, but changed it a little bit since she liked to spoil him. Seeing it in a non-parent-to-child context and with Diane being physically disabled was pretty disturbing to Mary, and she was getting panic attacks thinking about it. Well, I think that this is a little illuminating. Maybe it's more about our childhood trauma.
Isn't it always?
Yes, the classic. But come on. I don't think that your son is going to equate to your father here.
Yeah.
These are not the same situation.
Exactly.
Mickey, however, does look like his grandfather. He takes after Mary's features, so I think it also made her upset. I sat her down and said that I understood where she was coming from, and we could figure it out together. I called up Mickey and told him the history behind his grandparents. Mickey said he got why it's triggering his mom, and he wouldn't do it in front of Mary anymore. Mary said that she felt hurt. I assumed she was jealous and insecure of Diane instead of worried for her. Well, you got to understand optically, that's exactly what it looks like, though. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just being honest.
Right.
I deeply hurt her feelings, and I apologized, but she's still hurt. And there is an edit. I got messages saying I was unclear on what Mickey was doing that made my wife so upset. So, Mary's mother would give Mary a hug and a kiss for doing the dishes, for example. Mary would give her mom a hug for making dinner or sewing up her clothes, since her mom didn't have much energy. When Mary had Mickey, she would get him ice cream or a trip to the park and ask for a hug in exchange. Now, when Diane needed help getting in our house, Mickey would joke that he would help in exchange for a kiss, or he would help her at meals and ask for a hug or a kiss then. Now, Mickey would never not help his wife if she didn't give him a kiss, just like Mary wouldn't have denied him a snack or a trip to the park as a kid if he didn't want a hug. But it's triggering for Mary because of her past. Mickey promised to stop making the kiss as a payment joke, but not stop being affectionate with Diane. I feel bad because Mary said I assumed the worst of her. Maybe it was the natural conclusion, but I shouldn't have accused her and just asked her what was going on. I mean, optically, that looks like exactly what was happening. So I
Yeah.
just say sorry. Say, I just didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know the things I don't know.
Right. I only know what you tell me. And if you don't tell me, I don't know.
And we've got some comments here. Comment 1, this absolutely makes sense as a trauma response. But speaking as an abuse survivor myself, maybe your spouse should consider talking to a therapist to help unpack this. The first panic attacks or irrational to the outside observer responses are often just the tip of the iceberg, and there's a chance a lot more of these issues will start bubbling up. Your daughter-in-law's physical disabilities being similar enough to her mother's could uncover a number of triggers she may not have known about. A second comment responds, your wife's story was so sad about her mom. Goes to show you never know what's really going on with someone. Your wife clearly has a lot of past trauma to work through, and I'm glad there is open communication because I assumed she was jealous too. Good luck going forward. And that is the end of that story. Well, I guess that's why it's valuable to not make assumptions and instead ask, for open honesty.
That's why we like communication, people. That's why we like it.
Yeah.
Yay for communication.
My bridesmaid chose her fiance over our friendship right before my wedding.
Right before my wedding?
And this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit, and we do have a trigger warning for emotional abuse. I, 30 female, and my fiance, 30 male, are getting married in less than 2 weeks. He's been wonderful and supportive through what should be a stressful but also exciting time. For the most part, things were going smoothly until about 6 weeks ago. By the way, this comes from Worried Rise 4, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, one of my bridesmaids, let's call her Bonnie, has become a major source of stress. I asked her to be a bridesmaid 2 years ago. At the time, she even hinted she wanted to be maid of honor, but that role belongs to my BFF and chosen sister, who's been there since I was 15. About 6 weeks ago, Bonnie lost her job. This happened right when I was sending the bridal party final details about shoes, jewelry, and a $35 fur shawl. The dresses were already bought months earlier and were inexpensive, nothing over $100. I told everyone they could pick shoes and jewelry that worked with their dress and that I trusted their judgment. When Bonnie came to pick up her kids one Sunday, she threw a fit about buying shoes, saying she'd wear her everyday brown sandals because she wouldn't spend money on one-day shoes. I told her I'd buy or thrift something for her since I love thrifting and started looking for options. But in the bridesmaids group chat, anytime money was mentioned, she posted, "Some of us are unemployed right now." I'd already told her I covered what she needed because her being there mattered to me. She was posting on social media about losing her job and not getting benefits, but also telling me she wasn't stressing it. I found her 2 flexible jobs, one through a friend and one in the same field as her fiance, and even offered to watch her 3 kids so she could work. She declined both. I'll admit I started to get frustrated. She kept saying, "I can't afford that." Well, I was literally covering expenses and trying to help. And she was receiving sympathy online for not being able to find work. Then she decided to leave her fiance, let's call him Corey. She dropped the kids at her sister's and came to stay with me and my family. We already have a full house, our 2 young daughters, 3 dogs, and in winter, my mom and her dogs. But we made space. She told me Corey screams at her, calls her names, belittles her in front of the kids, and is mean to the children too.
Oh my God.
She'd been pretending things were fine because she knew I already disliked him, with good reason. Some backstory. Bonnie and I were inseparable in high school until she started dating Corey. He and I were both headed to boot camp, but he washed out due to medical reasons. A few months later, while I was at a school, Corey texted me saying he had feelings for me. I gave him until the end of the day to tell Bonnie. He didn't, so I did. She didn't speak to me for 10 years. 3 years ago, we reconnected, and she told me how Corey had cheated, walked out on her, and repeatedly dumped responsibilities on her throughout their 10-year relationship. When I say responsibilities, I mean everything. Bonnie has been the household manager and breadwinner. 3 kids, multiple dogs, chickens, cats, a bird, groceries, bills, cleaning, medical appointments, school routines, and, in winter, chopping, stacking, and hauling wood for a wood stove. He stayed up all night gaming, slept all day, and only recently took a $17 an hour job that lets him keep his chaotic schedule. He avoids being present for the kids and contributes next to nothing. She was holding the whole household up alone. The next day, she seemed to be getting her ducks in a row to leave him. Spoiler, she did not leave him. Halfway through the day, her updates stopped. When she did reply, it was short and vague. This went on for 2 days. Even though Corey is manipulative, silence, especially after heavy things, makes me spiral because I grew up with silence used as a weapon. When we finally talked, she told me she decided to stay and work things out. I told her that was her choice, but made it clear Corey was not welcome at my wedding or at anything our family hosts. I love her too much to watch him disrespect her in front of me.
Yeah.
She said she understood and still wanted to be in the wedding. She apologized for going silent and said she'd communicate better. For about a week, things were okay. But a month from the wedding, when I asked about a hair and makeup trial, she was supposed to do my hair and makeup. She kept making excuses and finally told me I should find somebody else. I felt hurt, like she was stepping back from the wedding. Then my maid of honor told me Bonnie was trying to back out of the bachelorette weekend too.
Again, at that point, I think you go to her and you say, hey, it seems like you're just not able to,
Yeah, which
you
is
know,
fine.
be a part of this in the way that I need you to be. Just okay. I still love you. Still want you to be my friend.
Just
if
come
that
as a
is true.
guest.
But come as a guest.
I'd already been crying to my maid of honor because Bonnie's messages felt like she was preparing to make excuses. Hearing the confirmation from my maid of honor crushed me. The Monday before my bachelorette, Bonnie sent this message. I've been thinking about this for a few weeks. I apologize for involving you in my personal vendettas. I am extremely grateful for how you supported me, but now I feel like because I didn't make the decision you thought was best, that you're upset with me. I can understand you being disappointed, but I also get the sense that you don't want me around right now. I wouldn't want you to feel uncomfortable because of me, so I think it's best if I'm not involved in your wedding because that's your day. I understand you don't like Corey, and that makes it extremely hard to be friends. I called her within minutes because to me, that read like a goodbye to our friendship, not just the wedding. She didn't answer. An hour later, I tried again, and she replied, I can't call right now. I'm busy doing my online class. I asked if she would call when she was free. No response. Silence. She finally called the next morning at 8:30 and acted like nothing had happened. I jumped right in and told her how the message made me feel, how her silence had me spiraling, and that I couldn't be blamed for her choice to stay with someone who treats her badly. She backpedaled, saying I'd taken the message the wrong way, and that she absolutely wanted to be in the wedding. Nothing felt genuine. I reminded her silence was torture for me and that we'd already talked about it, and she had chosen to disappear again. By the way, we'll never disappear on you because you can go listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime.
Do it.
A lot of episodes.
Whole lot.
We got a little bit more, but
yeah, I think you just need to tell her, hey. I mean, like it. I guess at this point she's already kind of stepping down.
yeah. Just let
Which
her
is not your
go.
fault. She's kind of, I mean, this is the type of friend who left you for 10 years because you told her a truth that she didn't want to hear. And that's what happened here. Told her a truth that she didn't want to hear, and she reacted poorly to it. So there's not really much you can do if she's going to stay with Corey.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but I agree completely. We got a little bit more. She kept saying this decision was all her, but from where I was standing, it looked like the same pattern. Corey manipulates, she wavers, and I get left holding guilt. We haven't spoken since that call. This is their cycle. Corey isolates her and drives people away. It's not just me. Her mom, her brother, her sister, his own mother, and her other best friend have all gone through this and ended up stepping back. I hate feeling helpless and useless. I want her kids, they call me aunt, back in my life. I want her to open her eyes and see what he's doing. I want her to be safe. So am I the a-hole for stepping away from this friendship? We have some comments. Comment 1. No, you're not the a-hole. You know that old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink? You've given Bonnie more than enough grace. She's choosing to stay in what sounds like an incredibly toxic relationship with Corey. Unfortunately, you have to protect your peace, and you can't save her from her own choices. I feel very sorry for her kids being stuck in the situation that their parents are putting them in. Best of luck. Congratulations on your wedding. I hope it's a wonderful day. And OP says, her situation is almost exactly what my brother and sister and I went through growing up, so it is especially hard to see this cycle continue for them. Commenter 2, not the a-hole. You clearly care deeply for your friends and, in turn, wish for them to care deeply about you. This is just simply not the case. You are being caring and communicative, and she is choosing to make the same mistakes, expecting different results. She is trying to make her situation about you and your feelings, but it's not at all. That's gaslighting. She has no interest in holding herself accountable for her own life, and that doesn't align with you or the people you want in your life. It sucks to lose touch with people's kids, but it's very hard to have a relationship with the kids and not their parents. It's been time to walk away. You're doing the right thing. And that's the end of that story.
Yep.
I
Agreed.
agree. Especially when she knows that, like, going radio silent on you is, like, the thing that triggers you the most.
Yes.
And continues to do it.
I
Like,
mean,
she
she did
just
it. She
doesn't
did it.
care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And OP again was one of our own.
Yeah.
on that
Yeah.
one.
No.
So,
OP, you are not the a-hole.
Not
Step back
at
for your own
all.
sake.
yeah, if you're listening,
Yeah.
OP, or if you do listen, you already know.